on Blue Sky. I just want to make sure everybody knows that my username on there is real Harry J Sisson. Somebody impersonated me on the app, took my username at Harry J Sisson. So I had to make mine real Harry J Sisson. So if you want to follow me on Blue Sky, it's real Harry J Sisson, nothing else. But anyway, just wanted to quickly make that announcement. It's on my Twitter and all that stuff. Aside from all that, listen, ladies, gents, boys, girls, everybody in between, as I mentioned, make sure to double tap the screen, fill up that entire bar when it comes up, fill it up once, twice, maybe 3 times if you're feeling it. Of course, spam those shares down there, Venmo, Cash App, in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. But aside from all of that, if you are MAGA, if you are a Republican, if you are a conservative, if you voted for Donald Trump for some odd reason, please come up and discuss and tell me how on earth you are. It makes no sense and why you voted for Donald Trump. But I digress. So if you are MAGA, let me know in the chat. Say, what's up, Kaylin? Kaylin bringing the energy tonight. Look at her. Hey, Harry. All caps, man. Come on, Kaylin. Bringing the energy tonight. Let me know if you're MAGA in the chat. I will bring you up where you can talk and you can tell me why on earth, how it's possible that you voted for Donald Trump. Does it sound good? Sounds good to you? Sounds good to me. I hope we're on the same page here. I like when we're on the same page. You know what I mean? So let me know if you're MAGA. I'll bring you up. We can talk. And as I mentioned, keep double tapping the screen. Let's try to get to 100,000 likes super quickly. Anyway. All right. Anthony says, debate me. Let's give Anthony a shot. Venmo, Cash App, link in bio. Anthony, my man, how old are you, bro?
I am 22.
22, yeah. What
How you doing?
What year were you born?
I was 2002.
It's the best year to be born, I've heard.
Why do you say that? Why
I was born in 2002. So you voted for Donald Trump, yeah?
Yeah, I did. But I wanted to talk about something before I talk about why I voted for Donald Trump.
Sure.
So I was in your live stream a day ago, and maybe not yesterday, maybe the day before.
Sure.
And there's a guy that came in from New Mexico. He was a LGBTQ guy, and he
yes, I remember.
Yep, you remember. He was scared.
Yep.
You don't think it's a little bit of an issue that you don't address that he shouldn't be scared like that? Because I think that's part of the reason why these assassination attempts are happening is people are so scared like Trump's some Nazi who's going to be going after LGBTQ. He's actually pro-LGBTQ, and he stated it before. The person who's anti-LGBTQ is actually the person in office right now, Joe Biden. Him and Joe Biden and Obama have been on air saying that they're against redefining.
So is Donald Trump, by the way, just for the fun fact.
Is he?
Yeah. In the past, he said the same thing.
Okay. Well,
just to be clear, and also fun fact about Joe Biden, he's the first major Democrat to come out in favor of gay marriage. He actually came out in favor of gay marriage before Barack Obama did. And during Biden's presidency, he signed a bill into law that was passed by Congress that codified a right to gay marriage and interracial marriage into law. So I don't know how you could possibly claim that Joe Biden is anti-LGBTQ.
I mean, he said it before.
By that definition, then you'd have to say that Donald Trump is anti-LGBTQ plus.
I mean, I that's fair. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Joe Biden obviously is not. But the reason why that gentleman was scared and why so many people are scared is because with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, we can be confident that our rights are going to be protected. With Donald Trump in office, we cannot have that same confidence. And, whether it be policy that's passed through Congress that Donald Trump signs into law or judges, our judicial system, Donald Trump, and I think this is one of the scariest things that Trump has said and will act on, is he said he wants to appoint future justices in the mold of Clarence Thomas, who currently sits on the Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas was somebody who'd advocated for Roe v. Wade being overturned, and is, in his dissenting opinion in the Dobbs case, he said that cases that protected gay marriage and the right to contraception need to be looked at again, meaning that these rights could be taken away federally and thus not protected in states anymore. So that gentleman's fear is very justified, along with women's fear being justified as well.
And Trump's also not that, he's not that anti-abortion as well. He leaves it up to the states.
I'd call that anti-choice.
All right, well, that's fair. But I just wanted to talk about that just because I think it is something that has kind of been blown over is the 2 assassination attempts on Trump.
That were done by people that voted for him. or people that
Okay.
were Republicans at least.
Come on, Harry.
Yeah, yeah. The one of them was a registered Republican, whose neighbors and friends said that he was conservative.
Right.
And the other one was somebody who said publicly that he voted for Trump and supported Republicans like Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley. So
That's not the point I'm trying to make. And that's
no, I know, but I'm just
and to
saying,
make
like, it's not like Democrats are going after Donald Trump out of fear because the Democrats are saying that Trump is so bad. I mean, it's registered
that's not
Republicans.
what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's a bunch of fear mongering that's creating these people to think that their only option is to go kill Donald Trump, which is absolutely ridiculous to think that he is somebody who's gonna go after LGBTQ or African.
I don't think that's ridiculous. I think that obviously,
women.
like, the attempts on his life are horrific and disgusting, and that should be condemned by anybody on any side.
I agree.
But yeah, I don't think that people like bringing attention to the danger of Donald Trump is fear mongering or evil or anything like that. I think it's perfectly justified.
I just saw that situation and I just wanted to talk about that. But if we want to talk about why I voted for Trump, then we can talk about that.
You can tell me why. Yeah, sure, if you want.
So I'm not like a political scholar, as sure as you can tell. I'm not like some dude who just researches politics all day. But I just live off experience. So my parents, I wasn't very much into politics in Barack Obama's time as a president, but my parents are in the middle class. They were getting taxed to hell. We had to sell our house. My parents make good money. Again, we're like in the middle to upper middle class. We had to sell our house because we were getting taxed so badly. Couldn't afford to live. Had to go live at my grandma's. This is all under Barack Obama's presidency. Donald Trump came into office. We started pooling in money, bought a new house. Economy's good. Gas is low. Groceries are cheap. Everything's great. Obviously, I don't like Trump, the things he says on Twitter, how he conveys himself on the internet and the things he says. I'm not the biggest advocate for how he is as a person. Obviously, I think cheating on your wife is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not ignorant to that fact, but just the way that the country was under that time prior to COVID and the way it is now, I look at it and I'm like, oh, why should I vote for Kamala when she said she'd do the same thing Biden did?
Yeah, I don't think that you were struggling under Obama because of taxes. I think that you and your family probably had to like sell your house due to the mortgage crisis that took place.
Okay.
So I think that makes more sense. I don't think that it was like, oh, the taxes are so like there was a housing crisis. There was a huge bubble that popped and a lot of people suffered, in the mortgage crisis. So I don't know your family's situation, but if you're telling me that you moved out of your house around like 2009, 2010, 2011, or maybe like 2008, that probably I would take a guess as to when did you move out?
It was 2014.
2014. Oh, then maybe I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe if it was in 2014, then it was something else. But just to be, around that time, there was a mortgage crisis taking place. So I also don't think that taxes forced, anyway, doesn't matter. But the point is that Obama actually recovered our economy from the mortgage crisis. He was the guy that got us back on track. He had the longest stretch of positive job growth. Unemployment fell virtually every single year of his presidency. Wages continue to go up. What was that?
Yeah. I know he's a good president. I'm not saying
so when Donald Trump got into office and you're saying, oh, well, the economy good, prices were low, gas was low, he inherited Obama's economy. Like Donald Trump didn't actually do anything to make the economy better. He didn't pass any legislation that made things cheaper or gas cheaper or anything of that nature. He likes to take credit for Obama's economy, but he didn't lay any of that groundwork. He just happened to inherit a good economy. And then, of course, the economy crashed with COVID, which is not Donald Trump's fault. It's not anybody's fault in particular, although Trump's response is his fault, obviously. And then Biden had to build us back up from that. But obviously, that's not easy. There was going to be struggle. And I think we would both agree that Biden inheriting a bad economy is not his fault.
I can agree with that, but wouldn't you say also prior to COVID that the economy kept getting better under his presidency? Because prior to COVID, weren't we at the lowest unemployment rate? Inflation was also the lowest. And seen a bunch of stats on it. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but is that all true what I'm saying or no?
Yeah, so the economy did get better, aside from COVID, every single year of Trump's presidency, but that would have happened regardless of Donald Trump. Like, the president doesn't micromanage the economy.
Right.
The economy is more controlled, more so by the Federal Reserve. The president usually has, like, in terms of the day-to-day of the economy, has very little effect on it. So Trump could have theoretically put his feet up on the desk for 4 years, or I should say 3, barring COVID, and the economy would have grown the exact same, right? So...
Yep. Well, do you see from like a normal person's perspective who's not like studying politics, why they would say, okay, well, I see 4 years under Trump, economy's getting better each year. Then COVID hits. Obviously, people say he mismanaged it, but nobody really knew what the effects of COVID were going to be. Nobody knew how much of a ripple it'd have. Nobody knew how bad COVID was. So it was very hard for him to even judge how to do or what to do with it. No one knew what to do.
Yeah.
And then we had 4 years under Biden and nothing's gotten better.
Yeah, I think that, like, if you're an average person who doesn't study politics, it's easy to fall in the trap of, like, perception is reality, meaning that, oh, I perceive the economy to be good under Donald Trump. I'm going to vote for that again because Trump will get us there. But I wish more people before the election understood that that's not how the economy works, and that's not how the presidency works. So Trump is going to get back in there and do absolutely nothing if his first term was any indicator of what his second term is going to be. He'll take credit for a bunch of growth that Biden has laid the groundwork for, whether it be in manufacturing or just economic growth generally, or inflation falling and whatnot. But, I understand that, like, if you don't study politics, you might just look at, okay, economy good, economy bad, I'm going to vote for economy good. But obviously that's, it doesn't tell you the full story.
I mean, if I am wrong and Trump does do nothing, then again, it's not, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Well, a lot bad can happen because Trump didn't do anything good the first term. I should say he didn't do anything good. In his first term, he didn't do anything good, but he did a lot of bad. Like, look at that guy. That guy, I just brought that guy in the box, by the way, because he said he could debunk every argument I had, and then he left. That's ironic. When he was in the first term, he didn't do anything good. He did a lot of bad. Like, he mishandled the pandemic. He incited the insurrection on January 6th and denied the election results. He passed a massive tax cut that gave...
Insurrection.
What was that?
How did he incite the insurrection?
Well, he told all of his followers to come to D.C. on January 6th, saying... will be wild. Then he spoke at the crowd. He knew a lot of them were armed, had weapons, firearms, knives, brass knuckles, things like that. So he knew that they were armed. He, prior to giving this speech, was briefed by the FBI and the Secret Service that they were planning violence. And so at this speech, he said, hey, I want you to go to the Capitol. And if you don't fight, you won't have a country anymore. And if you see fraud of these levels, I'm quoting him right now, if you see fraud of these levels, you go by different rules, implying that, like, you could break the law if you see fraud of this level, which didn't exist. And then he told his followers, which he knew that were going to be violent, and he knew that they had weapons, to go to the Capitol. And he wants to claim that, oh, I could not have seen this coming. It's not my fault. Well, I mean, of course, any logical person would have seen that coming, especially someone who is president of the United States. You'd hope that they'd be able to see that coming. And he sat there for 180 minutes and watched the violence on TV, on Fox News, and did nothing about it, did not deploy the National Guard, didn't tell his followers to go home. He did nothing. So
I think that's a little harmful to say that he was trying to incite the insurrection, and that's what he was trying to do.
That's what he's definitely trying to do.
He was not saying that, planning on them to go in and storm the Capitol, hurting. That's not what he was trying to do. He was trying to get him to protest. He thought there was fraud. I don't. You really think that that's what he was trying to do?
Like, think about it this way. You're a logical guy, right?
I am.
You're probably a smart guy, right? If you are him and the FBI and the Secret Service are telling you that all these these people are planning to be violent, that in group chats they're planning to be violent in some capacity on that day, and then you're telling all these people to come to DC, and they're all very fired up over a lie that you've told them, and then when you're giving this speech, you're using very inflammatory language, such as you have to fight. Mike Pence is a traitor. Giuliani, even before him, had some violent rhetoric saying you have to fight practically. And then you're also saying if you don't fight, you won't have a country anymore, kind of making it very high stakes. And you know that these people have weapons of multiple different kinds. And then you direct this very angry mob who you know is going to be violent with weapons to a certain location. And in that location are a bunch of people you're blaming for their problems. Do you not see how there's a very real possibility that that gets violent? And even if your argument is, well, Donald Trump didn't want it to be violent, then why for 180 minutes did he sit there watching it on the TV and didn't do anything about it? He's the president. He did nothing.
I do see your point, and I see where it can be conveyed that way, but I like to see the best in people, and I don't think someone would sit there and incite something so violent. I have a very hard time believing that.
But is there any evidence to the contrary? Is there any evidence on his side that, he didn't want this to happen?
Yeah, but there's no evidence that he did want it to happen either.
I think we can logically conclude based off what we've seen and know that Donald Trump very much did want it to happen.
There's difference between evidence and like proof that he's inciting it and just saying I can conclude off of. So
yeah, but Donald Trump doesn't have to say, I want violence at the Capitol for us to reasonably conclude that Donald Trump wanted violence at the Capitol. Like, in my view, there's no other reasonable explanation for somebody speaking in front of a crowd they know is going to be violent and they have weapons and then directing them to the building where, as I said, all the people exist that he's blaming their problems on. He's saying, these bad people are there. I know you have weapons. I know you're very angry. I know you're planning violence. Why don't you go there and just, make your voice heard? And you have to fight. If you don't fight, you won't have a country anymore. I think any logical person could be like, yeah, okay. So that person obviously wants there to be violence.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see the good in people, and that's just the way my brain thinks. I don't. And if it was the other way around, Harry, I'd say the same thing. If it was Kamala Harris doing the same thing, I would think the same exact thing. I wouldn't think that she was trying to incite an insurrection or a riot or any type of sort, just because I always see the best people.
I admire I always see the best in people, but I think you'd even recognize that is not always applicable, that there are just some bad people out there, people who are just fundamentally bad and want to further themselves as opposed to helping the country. And I think Donald Trump falls into that category. And I think the evidence is overwhelming. Like, if there was an argument that you could make an argument if the facts were different, but the facts are what they are. So,
well, then if you think Trump is such a bad person, then why did so many people vote for him?
I think a lot of people were angry over the past few years regarding the economy. I think, as I mentioned, I think a lot of people don't understand that Biden is not responsible for that Donald Trump can't change that he's not going to be suddenly able to bring down prices. And I think that this was people's way at reacting at that. So,
hold on. So you said that presidents can't control the economy and they can't change pricing.
Yes.
But then you also say that Trump inherited Obama's economy, and Obama's the reason the prices are low. How come you have reasonings for Obama being able to change prices and have a good economy, but Trump can't do anything about the economy, and he didn't do any good, and then Biden, he didn't do any bad?
Yeah. So I never actually said anything regarding Obama and controlling prices. Like, Obama, he didn't set prices. He didn't lower prices. The economy just got better and it stabilized. And with a more stable economy and with the economy recovering, prices, they weren't shooting up at 9-10% in terms of inflation. So Obama wasn't controlling prices. The economy just continued to grow in a stable way.
So then what's causing the economy to be so bad now under Biden's presidency?
Yeah, it's due to the COVID pandemic, why, people are like, why did my prices go up? Why is gas going up? Why are all these things very difficult? It's because of COVID. So, with just general goods, it was very difficult to get goods to shelves. And Econ 101 tells us that when supply is low, but demand is high, prices go up because there's limited amount, but a lot of people want that good. And that's the same with gas. During the pandemic, Donald Trump actually came to an agreement with OPEC countries for them to cut their production of oil. Because people weren't traveling as much, they weren't going to work, they weren't flying, things like that. And during the pandemic, that made sense. But as we came out of the pandemic, that supply never returned to its normal levels. So again, it's just supply and demand. The demand was high, the supply was low, it was not being met, so prices went up. But now, as things have gone up, supply has gone up, demand has gone up, or remained the same. And same with just general grocery store products, it's kind of leveled out now. So that's why inflation is like 2.4%. Gas prices are at what they normally are, or like a little bit higher than they were. But yeah, that's why it was high during the pandemic.
That's fair. But yeah, that's the one thing that I wanted to talk about when I brought up at the start was the main reason I wanted to come up and talk to you, just because I don't think it's fair to allow someone to be that scared, because that's what ultimately leads to those attempted assassinations.
I disagree, but we can agree to disagree on this one. That's okay.
Well, what do you think the attempted assassinations were based off of then? What
I just think that they're crazy people.
You don't think it's because they fear? For what?
I've seen no evidence to suggest that these people were like scared of Trump, and that's why they did that.
Well, then, if it's just crazy people, why haven't anyone tried doing it with Biden or Harris or whoever else? Why is it just Trump?
I don't know. I think these are just uniquely scary or crazy people. I don't think there has to be like an equal amount for us to say, oh, they're just lunatics, right?
Yeah. I just think that you should apply your same thinking in the way that you said. I can infer that Trump was trying to incite the insurrection. You can infer that they were probably scared.
But I don't think we have enough evidence to infer that. Like, I don't think we can confidently say, based off what we know, that the people that went after Trump were doing so because they were scared. We just don't have any evidence to say that. Whereas with Donald Trump, we have like overwhelming evidence to say that, yeah, he wanted this to happen.
That's fair. That's just my thought process, and sure. I think it's not fair to have somebody be that frightened, because there's really nothing that's going to happen to him, and I hope he learns that, he was crying on the thing, and I felt bad because there's just no reason for him to be that frightened over Trump being president.
I mean, I disagree. Women had their rights, the reproductive rights, taken away under Donald Trump because of his decisions with the Supreme Court. So, and since, Trump has flirted with taking a lot of these rights away, I think it's perfectly fair for people to be fearful and like very emotional right now. But again, we can agree to disagree. I think,
he didn't take the rights away. He left it up to the states. He let the states decide.
Now 1 in 3 women in the United States live in a state with a Trump abortion ban. And Trump knew that by appointing these Supreme Court justices to the court, that millions of women like that were going to have their reproductive rights taken away, because a lot of these states have trigger laws, which went into effect as soon as Roe v. Wade was overturned. So the second that Roe v. Wade was overturned, that new law took effect. And just like that, one morning, or one evening, a bunch of women in these Republican states went to bed with their rights. The next, they woke up and their rights were gone, and they were governed by new laws. So, and I also don't think sending it back to the states means that, Trump is, he's just send it back to the states. He doesn't want to actually take away the right, I don't think that makes sense.
Last question for you, just because I'm curious. What are your views on abortion? Like, when do you think it's okay? When do you not?
Yeah, I'm pro-choice. I think up to 24 weeks, states shouldn't be able to regulate it.
Okay.
So anyway, but if you have anything else, happy to talk about it. If not, you are definitely welcome back to have a conversation anytime. Cool. But yeah.
Have a good one, Harry.
All right, Anthony.
Nice talking to you.
Likewise, man. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gents. Jamie. Fuck, dude. Jamie. I don't know why I always call you Jamie. It's Jamie. I've tried researching, but no luck. Can you explain if Trump deports immigrants, but their country won't allow them back? What happens then? Keep up the good work. Yeah, I don't. That's been something that's like up for debate. Like, what happens if these countries just say, no, we won't take them back? I think you get into some trouble there. I don't actually know what the United States government would do at that point. Maybe DM Law of the Wild. He might have some input there. But yeah, anyway, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I will. I'll bring you up and we can talk. Yo, Courtney, thank you for the $2. Thank you for all of the great content, Courtney. Well, thank you being here. I incredibly appreciate that a lot. And Venmo, Cash App, link in bio. Drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 200,000 likes. But yeah, if you are MAGA, let me know. I'll bring you up and we can talk. Yeah. Ethan says he's MAGA. Let's give him a shot. Let's get him up here right now.
Hey, how you doing?
Calling in on a walkie-talkie. What's up, man?
No, not really. So
how old are you?
I'm 23.
23.
Yeah. So one thing I did want to bring up, I heard you talking in that conversation before. I believe his name's Anthony, but you said that with the whole attack on Trump and everything like that, if you paid attention to social media, as far as when I say social media, the news, really MSNBC, CNN, all of those, excluding Fox, which Fox is more Republican side of like reporting, if that makes any sense. But if you paid attention to any of that, every time they ever talked about Trump, right before the first assassination, they always called him a threat to democracy, which I don't really think he's necessarily a threat to democracy. I think it's a different outlook on his opinions, and not a whole lot of people really agree with that, which I voted for Trump. I will say that. I felt like he was more coherent than Kamala was. I didn't agree with all of his policies, but, I felt like as far as a world leader, I felt like he can speak with other world leaders and at least carry an intelligent conversation with them rather than beating around the bush.
Oh man, that's painful. All right. Okay. If somebody, would you acknowledge that like picking our leaders and having the ability to vote for who we want to vote for is the bedrock of democracy? Wouldn't you agree that that's like the fundamental?
Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody tries to take that away and invalidate millions of people's votes, wouldn't you call that an attack on democracy?
Depends on the circumstances. I mean, with this election, I felt like it was a landslide because the only states that really went blue were the states that didn't require voter ID.
Well, I'm happy to talk about that in a second as well.
I'm genuinely curious on what your thoughts are on that.
No. I'm happy to talk about that. But if somebody is trying to invalidate millions of votes in an election to help themselves, is that not an attack on democracy, which we just agree voting is a fundamental and a bedrock of democracy?
Yeah, I mean, okay. I will say yes to that.
And then
I
you
don't
acknowledge that,
know how he would try to stop that or change that, but
wouldn't you acknowledge then if that person's trying to take away those votes that they are a threat to democracy?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I just feel
so
like,
Trump.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying that that's not the case. I feel like there's plenty of words to use in the dictionary other than threat the entire time, especially even after the first attempt on his life was. I feel like people didn't take it very seriously because my thing is I feel like Kamala probably could have won, which I probably still would have voted for Trump, but I feel like Kamala probably would have won if they didn't push so much for the threat to democracy, and then they constantly say that. What it does is I felt like it created a tidal wave, and then it made Trump look like he was going to be a martyr. If that makes sense.
I disagree that if they would have not said that, they would have won suddenly.
Well, I'm not saying that's entirely the reason, but I felt like it was one of those waves that pushed a lot of the United States red. And I'm not saying that red has always been. I'm not saying red has always been the best, but can't really agree with a whole lot of policies on Democrat side. I mean, I'm just being honest.
And that's fine if we can happy to talk about those policies as well. But like, I don't think that the Democrats should have not called Donald Trump a threat to democracy because he is. And like, even just following the logic train, you concluded that Donald Trump also is a threat to democracy. In 2020, he tried to throw out 81 million votes for the winning presidential candidate. And he tried to do that illegally. He tried to throw out those votes illegally. And if you're trying to do that, you're trying to attack a bedrock of democracy. That in and of itself is a threat to democracy. And that's what Donald Trump is. So we shouldn't sugarcoat the truth. We shouldn't like dance around it and pretend that Donald Trump didn't do what he did, because he did. He tried to overturn an election illegally. And I don't think that changing, like being dishonest about that fact would have persuaded anybody. I don't think they would have been, oh, well, suddenly we're going to vote for the Democrats now because they're not, they're not being so mean to Trump.
I feel that, yes, I do believe Trump did try to do that. And I mean, clearly there's evidence to back that up that he did try to do that. But
it's a lot more than evidence, it's his own words, but yeah.
Well, I agree with you on that. But here's the one thing is with justice and law in the United States, with the people that Trump talks to, meaning his lawyers, and same with Kamala. they all push their agendas as far as they can to that line before it crosses over, and then they get in trouble with legal on did they intentionally try to invoke the insurrection on January 6th, blah blah blah. Clearly, he got away with it. I mean,
he only got away with it because he got elected.
Yeah, but I mean, he was close to already getting away with it.
No, he wasn't.
Well,
if these cases would have gone to trial, he would have been convicted, and that's the depressing thing. It's like the fact that millions of people, including folks like yourself, voted for somebody who would have 99.9% of the time been convicted of the crimes alleged against him regarding him trying to overturn the election. It's just like, how could you possibly?
I only voted for Trump because I just didn't like how in the interviews and the debates, whenever Kamala was being asked questions, whenever she was being talked to, she couldn't complete a full thought. And I'm not saying that that's not stressful, but I mean,
have you heard Trump speak? Have you heard I genuinely don't understand this talking point that like Kamala Harris didn't answer questions or she jumped around things. Like, have you heard Trump speak?
She literally ran around in circles. Trump's done that too, but at least Trump can make it sound like he understands and tries to send something.
My man, he has talked about, in this campaign trail, he's talked about Hannibal Lecter. Yeah. He's talked about boats sinking with batteries on them and whether he'd rather be on the sinking boat or in the water with sharks. When he was asked about whether he wants to raise the minimum wage while working at McDonald's, he dodged them. He didn't even respond. He just like, well, McDonald's is beautiful. So many great people work here. Wouldn't answer the question about minimum wage. We still don't know what his opinion is on the minimum wage, or at least for this cycle. And when he's asked, like, how are you going to have mass deportation? Like, how are you going to fund it? He doesn't answer. Where's your healthcare plan? Doesn't answer. What's the details of your healthcare plan? Doesn't answer. He says he has concepts of a plan. Donald Trump, this entire election cycle, never gave you or me or the American people a straight answer on any of his policy. Have you heard him talk about what he's going to do to solve inflation? No, because he never did. He never gave us any specifics on that. So, like, the idea that Trump is some straight shooter who just, like, he's willing to answer a question, or it sounds like he does, is ludicrous.
Did Kamala ever answer? Because I didn't listen to the whole debate. Did she ever answer how she would attack the inflation?
Yes.
Because I know she said something about the Inflation Act. Can you elaborate on that? On how that would actually have helped the economy?
Yeah.
If we would have went with that. So
what are you asking about, the Inflation Reduction Act or her policy surrounding inflation?
Well, a bit of both, because I kind of want to understand a little bit of both, because, I felt like she had 4 years, though she was a vice president. She does have a lot of, I guess you could say, more power than most to persuade Biden or to run the country herself. She had 4 years. Why didn't she try to do that already?
Mm-hmm. So I'll try to address all this like super quickly. But for example, with the Inflation Reduction Act, how did it help the economy? How did it help people? One of the main provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act surrounded healthcare. So as part of that bill, it capped insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. It also gave Medicare the ability to negotiate drug prices with private companies to bring them down. This is an ability that Medicare had previously never had. It's something that the healthcare lobby had been against for years. They put so much money into fighting this effort. Donald Trump buckled to them, wouldn't pursue a policy like that. Joe Biden said, screw you, we're going for it anyway. Now Medicare has already announced 10 to 15 of the drugs that they're negotiating to get the prices down, and those prices will come down. Inhalers will also capped at $35 a month. So this policy brought prices down in healthcare, which is one of the most inflated markets in the United States. But also what Kamala Harris wanted to do if she got elected was pass a bill further criminalizing or increasing the penalties surrounding price gouging. So if a company tries to illegally raise their prices to make a profit off of the American people unjustly, those companies would face stiffer penalties. This bill would have also incentivized competition in all of these marketplaces, which then in turn would hopefully bring the prices down because, companies have to compete.
Yeah.
But in reality, there's no real way that either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump could have just been able to bring down the price of groceries. They could do it in certain areas like healthcare, but they can't do it just like for broadly. And finally, on housing, Kamala Harris wanted to bring housing prices down by a lot by doing a number of different things. Number one, building 3 million new houses in her first 4 years by working with developers and contractors, giving them a tax incentive to do it, and also giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 credit for down payment assistance, so they could actually buy a home and have some breathing room when it comes to buying a home. That would have also brought prices down in housing. Donald Trump has no policy to do any such thing.
On that aspect, on the housing issue, you said she's bringing in what, $3 million 3 million houses or
3
something?
million new housing units in 4 years, correct?
Okay, but she's let in how many migrants has she let in? I mean, those migrants have to go somewhere. If we already don't have enough housing, how is that going to change the housing?
So she also wanted to pass a strict immigration bill that would have limited that number. So, a lot of first of all, the people who have come in recent years are legal. They're legal migrants. They're coming in via asylum. But she wanted to pass that strict immigration bill to reduce that number. So these houses in question mostly would have gone to the American people.
Why? You say mostly, but why didn't they put a cap on that whenever they first opened up the floodgates and not let Texas keep them out of Texas?
So they never opened up the floodgates. There was no policy that Biden and Harris passed that just like opened the border. There's nothing that they did that opened the border. And also, fun fact, they actually did try to pass a cap, a 5,000 encounter cap per day, and that's only encounters. That doesn't mean people coming into the country. That's only encounters, meaning that somebody was just spotted. But the Republicans blocked that bill. So,
well, my question is, I mean, but they didn't really do anything to help stop the migrants. I mean,
it's not true.
I mean, Texas put up their borders, and then they kept on sending in the what was it, ICE or Border Patrol would go in and they would cut the razor wire and stuff like that. Like, you constantly seen that in the media. I mean,
so
if that's facts or not, that was how it's portrayed.
Yeah, so that's how like Fox News and Republican media portrayed it. But the reality of the situation is that Texas was breaking the law. So when they had those buoys in the water with those razors, those buoys were court ordered to be removed. When they had the barbed wire along the Rio Grande River, the Biden administration sued them because that barbed wire was preventing federal agents from being able to do their jobs, and federal agents and Border Patrol, Trump's state Texas Border Patrol agents, so the federal agents take priority over them. So the state can't interfere with the federal agents. So the Biden administration sued them for breaking the law, and the Supreme Court actually sided with them, saying that they were allowed to remove the barbed wire. The federal agents were, and that's a conservative Supreme Court. It's 6-3. They won 5-4 the Supreme Court. So Texas was breaking the law, and if a state is breaking the law, I want the current administration to sue them. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I was curious on that just because, I mean, that's what I remember seeing in the media. I didn't know all the facts on it because, I mean, you open up CNN, you see one thing. You open up Fox, you see the other. You open up MSNBC, you see another thing.
Well, just cross-reference. I mean, that's my recommendation. So if you're like, all these different articles have bias, just like read a Fox News article, but also read an MSNBC article, read a CNN article, and then like all the facts that they agree upon, you can reasonably assume that those are true. But also, like with the court cases, you can read the court cases yourself. You can see the Supreme Court's decision. So if you're like uncomfortable with reading like Fox News, you can go to a court decision directly and see what they decided.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I appreciate that. Now, my other thing I was going to ask you about, if Kamala did get in, what would have been her first, I guess you would say, official movement within the first 100 days?
Yeah, I mean, I think that on day one, at least, she would have done a bunch of executive orders. What those executive orders would have been, I don't know. They would have been written up before time.
Yeah.
But in terms of policy, I think she probably would have pursued policy surrounding reproductive rights, surrounding housing, and surrounding immigration. I think that would have been her first 100-day kind of, and that all kind of encompasses the economy as well. So,
yeah, I mean, I will say one thing. I don't agree with abortion, but I do think, like, with every single policy and every single law, there is always an exception. And I know you said, like, 22 weeks the government government or state shouldn't have a say over 22 weeks.
Yeah, 24.
or 24 weeks. I think it should be a little closer to about 20 because typically about the 9 week, well, a little less than 20. I would say 14 max because about 8 to 9 weeks is typically whenever you find out. And I mean, I personally think that of course you should search out and do your best. If you are not planning on getting pregnant, do your best not to get pregnant, but not to use an abortion as a form of birth control
They
for
don't do
that
that.
purpose.
Women don't do that.
Well,
Like
I'm
the
not
idea that
saying
women are
all
using
women
like
do, but
abortion for contraception is like long debunked by now. And the reason why it's at 24 weeks is that's viability, meaning that that fetus could exist and survive outside of a mother's womb. Prior to that point, that fetus could not. So that's the thinking behind like the 24 weeks. It's also sentient. So like before that point, that fetus doesn't have sentience. After that point, they would. So I think like a state has an interest in regulating a pregnancy where a fetus has sentience and it would be viable on its outside of the womb. But prior to that moment, I see no reason why a state should be able to regulate that. And even if, typically women find out, if they're pregnant, as you mentioned, like 8, 9 weeks, but I don't think that like a woman has to make a decision as soon as they find out that they're pregnant. They should have
no,
the time to sit on
I
it and
agree. I
think.
mean, they should. I mean, it is a life-changing decision, regardless on how you look at it, because um, some mothers and their mothers, whether or not they choose to want to stay mothers or not, they are mothers, and you'll see a lot of people that actually go through abortions that run into depression afterwards because maybe guilt or whatnot. And I have known a few people to do that. So I'm not saying that they should have to act immediately. But what I am saying is there is exceptions, and one thing I will say I will not agree with there not being an exception, because according to what I've seen, and I don't watch a whole lot of news, but I turned on Fox and they were doing an interview, and they were like, "Well, if a girl got raped and she was pregnant, would she have to hold the baby?" And I think that's wrong. I mean, if you get raped, and I mean, you shouldn't have to live with that consequence. You shouldn't have to hold it out, especially if it's well within that 24 weeks, like what you were saying.
Yeah, I
That's where I
mean,
think it's an overstep.
so yeah, I think somebody put this really well to me recently, and I think this is like a compelling argument. It's like, well, you're all open. You're perfectly fine with a woman who's been assaulted with getting an abortion, which I would agree. Like obviously, a woman who's assaulted should be able to get whatever care they need. But then, why does a woman have to be violated in order for her to have a choice? Like, why in that instance do women say, "Oh, well, we have a choice"? But a woman who's like an 18-year-old girl, she wants to go to college, she wants to start a job. Why doesn't she get a choice?
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, another thing that I heard that I think is even more of a something that I find very interesting is that they tell you, let's say the mother finds out they're pregnant, but they're smoking crack. I
Oh,
mean,
you're gonna get
it's not
banned now.
healthy. What?
You're gonna get banned. You're gonna take. You can't say that on TikTok Live.
Well, okay, well, what they're gonna do is they're gonna say that the mother is trying to kill the baby, but the baby isn't even 24, 24 weeks. But at that point, it's like the mother's choice to do it, even though it's illegal. It's the mother's choice to do it. But they want to call it murder then, if the mother's doing it. Does that make sense?
No, I have no idea what you just asked. To be honest.
All right. All right. So if the mother is smoking something
Yeah.
highly illegal,
Uh huh.
and the mother is only, let's say she finds out that she's pregnant 9 weeks. That's typically where you start to find out. I have 2 kids of my own. And the mother starts smoking, and she does her thing. My thing is that mother will get charged for murder if she has a miscarriage due to her smoking that illegal substance. But she can go get an abortion before then, or if she wasn't smoking, she can go get an abortion and not be considered murder. That's my question. Like, I've seen it happen. I mean, I have a family member that it did happen to them with, and I don't really talk to them because
I don't think that they get charged if you have a miscarriage as a result.
Well,
like, I think if you like, I don't even know the law. I don't know the laws surrounding this. I can't even tell you. I don't even think that if you smoke while you're pregnant, do you get charged? I don't even know if that's the case.
Well, see, the thing is that whenever she went to the OB and she got tested, she got charged, and it was a family member, or something like that. It was, I think, one of my cousins, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't like immediate. But I just was curious about that, because my question is I already don't agree with everything on the Republican side, but I'm really wanting to know how does the Democrats look at it, or
Regarding
Democrats
what? Reproductive rights, or?
Yeah.
The Democrats are mostly in line with what I just said, like restoring Roe v. Wade, which says that, before 24 weeks, the state can't interfere.
Yeah.
We just want the government out of the decision. That's all. Like, if a woman wants to keep her child, no problem. If a woman wants to get an abortion, no problem. We just want choice. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Just freedom.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that.
Well, that's a good way. The good thing. Then start thinking about it that way, man. Just freedom. Anyway, man, we'll leave it there. You're welcome to come back anytime. But I appreciate the conversation. All right.
It was a pleasure. Have a good one.
Thanks, Ethan. All right. Corey, thank you for the $25. Appreciate your tone while speaking facts. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate it, man. It's sometimes that guy was, a decent person to talk to. And when I say decent, I mean like he wasn't screaming at me, which is always easier. So I appreciate that, man. Summer, thank you for the $3. Do you think there's any possibility Trump's cabinet picks have an ulterior motive in terms of distracting from a bigger move? No, I don't think so. I just think his administration picks are really bad. Sydney, thank you for the $5. I was wondering if I could send you a case about my friend's death who was 18 and got blanked. His name is Jackson. I want to get him justice. Stephen Parker already said yes to looking over it. Yeah, and there's the notification that Ethan got banned. Yeah, definitely, Sydney. You can definitely send that to me. Just throw it in the comments or whatever it is. 100%. We'll definitely take a read. Anna, and by the way, I'm sorry to hear that happen. It's just terrible. Anna, thank you for the $5. Not sure if I should be depressed or laughing listening to the Trump supporters you talk to. Either way, appreciate your content. Also, let's help my citizenship. I hope my citizenship isn't taken away by Trump because Russia isn't taking me back. Maybe Ukraine would. Yeah, we got to hope, right? Anna, I hope, fingers crossed for you. Alicia, thank you for the $5, fighting the good fight. And Michaela, thank you for the $1. And Allison, thank you for the $1. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I know I've been obnoxious these past few days. I don't think you've been obnoxious. Keep doing what you're doing. Having you on your side means the world. Thank you so much, Allison. I appreciate you a lot. Just remember that you haven't been obnoxious. You haven't been obnoxious. Emily, sorry I trolled so much. Appreciate what you've done. I appreciate that, Emily. Why'd that guy leave? What have you trolled? $1 for your live so early. I appreciate that. Christmas truly did. Wow, I can't read that out on live, but I appreciate that, Daisy. Thank you so much. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio. If you want to support the live, make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 400,000 likes. When that bar comes up, fill it all the way. All that good stuff.
Hey, Harry.
And what's up, man? And yeah, as I mentioned, Venmo, Cash App, link in the bio. Also, all the different social media platforms are in the bio. And if you signed up for Blue Sky, the new Twitter thingy, my username on there is Real Harry J Sisson because somebody stole my other username, so it's Real Harry J Sisson. Anyway, Edward, and on Snapchat, Harry J Sisson as well. Anyway, it just doesn't matter.
Hey, so this is I'm going to come off kind of different here. First of all, I'd like to say that I did vote for Trump. We won. I've been on live before with you, but
yeah,
I come to say on your live, I come to say let's have peace with each other. I talked to an older lady. I work on cars. I talked to an older lady, and she said back in the old days that the Democrats and Republicans, they didn't fight like this. They had disagreements. They had, different point of views and stuff like that, but they never fought like this. Why can't we just get along? And, yeah, there's things you don't like about Trump, and this and that, but I think he's going to do good for our country, and he did win. There's a lot of Americans that voted for him.
Yep.
And if that many Americans voted for him and he actually made it into office, don't you think that America wanted him to be president? And you know what I mean? I feel like, there's bad parts to both sides. Okay. There's bad parts for the Democrats. There's bad part for the Republicans, but I just want peace. I want us to get along. I want to be able to wear my Maga hat and go down and drive in my car without being threatened or yelled at and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's all. It's just, I want peace.
Mm-hmm. So I think all the women who had their reproductive rights taken away wanted peace as well. I think all of the people of color, the LGBTQ plus community who woke up fearful for their rights also want peace. I think they want to be able to live in harmony with everybody. And I think that Democrats want peace, but your guy, Donald Trump, called us the enemy. Trump has called his political opponents vermin. He has suggested that he wants to go after journalists, his political opponents in the form of different Democrats like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. The list is long of people that Donald Trump has threatened to go after. So, spare me the whole unifying message. If you wanted a unified country where you can disagree with your neighbor and be friends, then you would have voted for somebody like Kamala Harris, who has a record of working across the aisle. Tim Walz has a record of working across the aisle. Like 50% of the pieces of legislation he sponsored during a specific time when he was in Congress was a bipartisan bill. But you didn't. You voted for Donald Trump, who called people like me, called people watching the live right now, enemies. So I love that you want unity. I love that you want to have a unified country, but your vote does not speak to that.
Okay, but first of all, I wanted to mention something on that. I heard that my vote didn't even count because I'm in California, and California is a blue state, and my vote didn't even matter. But I voted anyway.
Okay.
And but I want peace, and I think Harry, you have a lot of good points. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kamala was the one I should have voted for. Kamala. Okay. But anyway, I'm more worried about all the overdoses we're having, the young kids with the fentanyl coming across the border.
You're gonna get banned.
Stuff like that. Oh, sorry.
You said the F drug. You got to say the F drug, not the name.
Oh, oops.
God,
Okay.
What's up with people tonight just letting the words fly? What the hell, guys?
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Anyway, if I get banned, that's okay. I didn't know that. But anyhow,
fun fact, not fun fact, but fact that is good. Overdose deaths last year from the F drug went down for the first year in a while. So
it's more deaths. It's more deaths than anything right now. The F word has killed more kids and children than anything alone this year, if you look it up. But I think it's I think him with the border and everything like that is going to be a good thing because we have terrorists that come through, we have people that come through we can't trust. Now, Trump wants you to come over peacefully and do it the right way, but he doesn't want you to come over illegally. He doesn't want you to just sneak over here and try to get asylum. He doesn't want you to come over here and just not do it correctly. He wants you to do it in a professional way, like normally. He'll give you citizenship, but you have to go through the right channel.
yeah. So just to stop you right there, fun fact. Again, not fun fact. I got to stop saying fun fact when I put out really morbid pieces of information, but fact in the context of this conversation is that the leading cause of death for children at any age from 1 to 17 years old is not the F drug or drugs at all. Right now it's firearms. So them getting killed as a result of a firearm. But also for different age groups, there's cancer. I'm looking at right now on the CDC. For kids ages 1 to 4, it's accidents or congenital malformations, deformations, assault, aka homicide, which firearms would fall under. And then ages 5 to 9, again, accidents, cancer, congenital malformations, and 10 to 4, accidents, intentional self-harm, that being taking one's life, which is really, really sad, and then cancer as well. So the F drug is not the leading cause of death right now for kids.
Well, the F drug, I believe I read it. It topped the charts on the most cause of death. And if I don't know if I read the wrong article.
I don't know what charts you're seeing at. For kids, that is not the case. So right now it's firearms and then and disease and accidents and whatnot.
Harry, real quick, I know you got other people to come on, but I want to say it real quick. What about the tax cuts for the elderly that can barely make it, that barely get their prescriptions out, that barely make it to the pharmacy? What about all the tax cuts for them? What about all that? What about everything he wants to do for us? He has
Kamala
good
Harris.
intentions too.
Trump has no good intentions, my man. You just I talked to you a while ago, and I tried to stress this to you that Trump is not going to make your life better. He didn't the first time. He's not going to the second time. He has no good intentions when it comes to politics. Kamala Harris, if you cared about elderly and the tax cuts, Kamala Harris wanted to give 100 million Americans a tax cut. That includes a lot of elderly folks who are living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe they're retired and they're living on Social Security, they're living on retirement, whatever that might be. It included them as well. And also, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in the Inflation Reduction Act got insulin capped at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. And part of their policies included the largest investment in senior care reform ever in American history as well. Number one. So if you cared about that, number one, you would have voted for Kamala Harris. And number two, Donald Trump has no policy regarding this stuff. None. Zero. Nada. Zilch. How many more words there for zero?
Harry, can I ask you a question? No, can I ask you a question? I'm so glad I went live with you right now because I want to ask you this. How come under the Trump administration, everything was cheaper? And then now that Biden was in office, everything is sky high. Okay, and I am successful.
I'm going to lose my goddamn mind if somebody asks me this goddamn question again. Oh my God. Go ahead.
But anyway, I am a successful person. I have 3 young children, or older, 22, 16, and 12. I bought my own home. I have my dream truck. I have everything I ever wanted. I have a good job. And you know what? I love where I live. I love the United States. And I think that, I don't think we're going to lose all that because Trump's president. I don't think we're all going to just, lose our house or lose everything. I think we're still going to be all successful. And, I don't think that the world's going to come to an end because Trump got elected, is what I'm saying.
So I think, I don't think that the world is going to come to an end. But I think that America becoming a less strong nation, weaker nation, I should say, is very possible, if not likely, under Donald Trump. And there could be the end of the world if he just wants to nuke Iran, because one day he wakes up and he's feeling frisky. But you asked why are prices high now? Why were they not under Donald Trump? I'll make this very simple. Trump inherited Obama's economy. Obama's economy was good. He built it up for 8 years. Trump took credit for that economy. So when you're bragging about cheap prices under Donald Trump, you should be thanking President Barack Obama, the GOAT, many call him. That's his nickname. I didn't make it up on the spot right now. Many people call him that. And then when Trump got into office and then took credit for that economy, then COVID happened and the economy crashed, and then Biden took office and he inherited Trump's economy. But the economy was really bad. We always knew that there were going to be repercussions of COVID. It wasn't just that, some people were going to lose their job temporarily. It was a global phenomena that shut down trade routes. It hurt our supply chains. It made it really difficult to get products to shelves. So there's always going to be high inflation rates. There were high inflation rates all around the world. And before Biden even took office, economists were writing that there's going to be high inflation and that we, the United States, along with other countries, should prepare for that reality because it's a lagging indicator. It's not going to happen immediately. It's going to happen a little bit after. And that proved to be correct. So that inflation that you're upset about, the high prices, had nothing to do with Joe Biden. Right. And if Donald Trump were president, they still would have gone up.
But Harry, I see what you're saying. But they had 4 years to fix it. They had 4 years to fix it, buddy.
There's nothing that the president can do to bring down global inflation. The president can't snap their fingers and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm kind of sick of this high price stuff. Let's just bring those prices down. It's not how the government works. It's not how anything works. Right?
Okay. Well, then, if he doesn't bring nothing down.
Let me make you a bet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is just a gentleman's bet. No, nothing on the line. But I just want you to just keep this conversation in the back of your mind because Trump is going to become president of the United States in 67 days or whatever inauguration day is. I guarantee you, in the first year of his presidency, first 2 years of his presidency, the prices of your goods at the grocery store will not go back down to what they were pre-pandemic. I want you to remember this conversation, and then going forward, when you watch the Trump presidency and you see him and how he promised to bring your prices down, and that doesn't happen. Matter of fact, they might go up as a result of tariffs. Just keep that in your mind, okay?
Okay, I will. And I, you know what? If he brings, and you remember this conversation too, because in the next couple of years right now, if prices do go down, and everything goes down and things get better, I want to remember this conversation too. But I think, I really do think Trump's with the tariffs and the plan he has with everything, and he says that we do way too much for other countries. We give out money nobody else does, and all that stuff. And
it's bullshit.
I know, but he's made us believers, and we believe our side, you believe your side, or whatever. And the day that I'm proven wrong with Trump and all that, I will vote for the other side. I promise.
Buddy, you were already proven wrong about Donald Trump once, and you voted for him again.
Yeah, but I did vote for him. My vote never counted. I'm in California. I was told by several people.
Your vote does count, my man. Your vote absolutely counts. You have House races, Senate races, local elections, and of course the presidential election. I always find it weird when someone says, "Oh, I vote in California. My vote doesn't count." It's like the only reason that Kamala Harris or Democrats win California is because people vote, right? Like your vote absolutely matters.
Okay, but Harry, don't you think we're going to be okay, though? Don't you think that, even though Trump's in office, we're not going to go to some big war. We're not going to, we're not going to be devastated. We're going to keep living. Yeah, you might not agree with him and whatever, but I think we're going to be just fine. We do have the strongest military in the world. We do have a very good economy, and I don't know whether,
So what the fuck? So you acknowledge that we have a strong economy under Joe Biden? So you give Joe Biden credit for creating a strong economy?
I do. I do give Biden credit for that. Yes, I do. But
you voted for Trump?
No, I voted for Trump because of what he wants to do in my beliefs. I do believe there is a lot of jobs, unemployment rates down, stuff like that. Yes, but you know what? I'm not saying. I'm not saying Biden did a bad job. What I'm saying is Trump will make things better, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, bro.
But I'm not trying to upset you,
bro. This
Harry.
stuff drives me crazy, bro. I got to stop doing this stuff for my own sake, bro. This stuff drives me crazy. I had somebody the other day. People were here for this when the woman said that she voted for Trump, but Trump wants to get rid of DACA and her best friend's on DACA. And the other day I had somebody tell me that they knew that Donald Trump was going to raise prices with tariffs and they voted for him anyway. Somebody help us. Somebody help us. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, Harry, I mainly wanted to come on here to bring peace between both parties. Let's have peace. Yeah, we're gonna have our differences, but come on, man. These it's out of control, Harry. These people are yelling and screaming at each other. There's threats. The people cannot stand Trump. Hey. They can't stand us.
Edward or Eddie? What do you prefer?
Eddie's fine, but
Eddie,
it's
your guy called us the enemy.
Okay. But you're not, you know what? I had our Thanksgiving dinner and everything, because we have Democrats and Republicans in our family, has been canceled. We've had fights. Our family don't even talk to each other anymore because we have different beliefs. It's just getting out of line, and I'm tired of it. We can't even, my wife's parents are Democrats, and on my side are Republicans. And, it's just horrible that we have to live this way.
Well, maybe if you didn't vote for the felon who assaults women, we wouldn't have to live this way. If you just had a common sense approach to politics and said, yeah, somebody who calls the other side the enemy and assaults women and breaks the law and mishandled the pandemic and didn't really do anything for the economy the first time, maybe we shouldn't vote for that guy. Well, then your family wouldn't be split and you wouldn't have people fearful for their life and their rights. And then you could have Thanksgiving, you could all eat turkey and kumbaya.
Right. All right, Harry. Well, I'm not okay. I just think that we should start a new trend, and this be let's all just get along. Please.
Why the fuck? Okay. Just think, I'll leave you with this. A woman in a Republican state who has to wake up every goddamn day fearful of her getting pregnant and not being able to get an abortion. Why on earth does she have any incentive to look at somebody who voted for the guy who took away her rights and be like, you know what? Let's just hold hands and dance. There's a beautiful field of flowers over there. Let's frolic. The sun is shining. Everything's great. No. Why the hell would a woman who had her rights taken away by the guy that you voted for be like, you know what? I'm gonna unite with this guy. There are people, real people are hurt by Donald Trump. Real people are affected by what he does, and you voted for him anyway. So I'm sorry. I really don't think, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, you don't have the right to sit up here and tell people to unite and unite with Trump supporters like yourself, because a lot of people are hurt by Donald Trump. They're hurting, and they will get hurt by Donald Trump. All
right. Well, then I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've looked at both. A long time, Harry. I was raised in a Democratic family, and I've looked at the policies Trump has and the policies. I've looked at everything, and I'm not telling you I'm a smart guy. You're way smarter than me. I mean, I can tell you that right now. But I've looked at, what the policies are and all the rest of it. And I just lean towards the right a little bit, and I voted for Trump. But I really think I'm mostly big on the borders, like people coming through that we don't know anything about their criminal history. We don't know anything about them. You're letting murderers over here and stuff like that, plus all the F coming through and everything else. I've had 3 family members die. My sister's husband died from the F.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. He died last year. They were able to save the other person that was there on the scene too, but they didn't get to him in time. But anyway, I've lost Lonnie. He's a good friend of the family, and we've lost 3 family members. So, which is not much, but I've looked at the statistics.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is why it's even more baffling that you voted for Donald Trump, because Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, and even some Republicans were proposing a bipartisan immigration bill that would have reduced the amount of people coming into the country. It would have given Border Patrol billions more dollars. It would have made it harder for people to seek asylum. It would have also given money to investing in state-of-the-art technology to scan for drugs coming through the border, because the majority of drugs that come to the United States from our southern border come through legal ports of entry, and the people bringing it in are native-born Americans. Over 90% of the people arrested and convicted of drug trafficking in the United States from the southern border are native-born Americans. So we had policy to put into place that would have stopped this, maybe saved your family, friends, and their lives. Republicans blocked that bill. Donald Trump said, please blame me if that bill fails. So you're personally affected, and it's truly tragic, your personal experience with this. And it's like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. But a bill was proposed to stop things like this, to invest in technology that would have scanned the border, these cars coming through for drugs in them. And the Republicans blocked it.
I heard about it, but I never looked into it. But Harry,
you didn't look into it. Okay.
I will look into it more. And you know what? I'm so glad you picked me. But you know what? There's no disrespect towards women, me voting for Trump, and I'm sorry that there's a lot of upset women out there, and I do apologize for that. I just want what's best for our country. That's it. My heart goes out to all those women and stuff like that, and women's rights and stuff like that. And I just don't know what else to say, but I just want us, like I said, the main reason I came on here is I want us to start at least attempt to try to get along. And all this hate has just got to go. This is not us. It's not America, man.
Mm-hmm.
But right. I see what you're saying.
Well, I appreciate you coming up, man. You have a good rest of your night, all right?
Harry, you have a good night too, man. Just enjoy yourself.
Thanks, Eddie.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
I can't do this no more, bro. Yo, Abby, thank you for the $1. Why are you in such a silly, goofy mood? I'm not. I'm kind of pissed. I can't even lie. Lee, thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. Nova, thank you for the $2. Did you hear about the 2025 budget supported by 80% of the House that cuts Social Security for 3 and 4 Americans? Came out 6 hours ago. Source: House Republican budget. I have not heard about that, but I will take a look. Thank you for providing me the source. That's actually very helpful. I'll read about it. Kate, it wouldn't surprise me, though. Katie, thank you for the $1. We love and appreciate you so much. What do you think about Trump putting Elon Musk in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency? I think it sounds like satire. But unfortunately, it's the reality for the United States of America. It's goddamn insane. Virginia, thank you for the $3. Hi again. You're so respectful when debating these people. It's admiring. Just in case you don't want people asking you this question, you don't have to read aloud, but do you consider following people back on TikTok? Hope you have a good live. I do. And sometimes I follow people back on TikTok. And I do. But like, I'd say like the platform where I interact with, supporters the most is probably Snapchat, because it's just like, it's a way better experience. It's super easy. I can just like slide up and respond to people one by one. And so I respond to people over there. I add people back sometimes on Snapchat and stuff like that. I think that's the easiest one. Also, our message is Justice for Jackson. His name is Jackson Cradle. Thank you, Sydney. I sent it to you on Instagram, so it should come up in your message request. And when you accept, I'll be able to send more articles, as they just came out with the 911's transcripts are hard to listen to. Definitely, I will look into it. Thank you, Sydney. And maybe like put your Instagram in the comments if you'd be so kind, so I could easily find it. Allison, thank you for the $1. You, Parker, Dean, and Chris give me faith in the men of our generation. At least some of you are educated on politics. Thank you for everything you do, Diva. Mwah. Wait, she put mwah. Love you. I appreciate that, Allison. Thank you so much. And finally, on Cash App. Yo, Johnny, thank you for the $50 on Cash App. That's incredibly kind. Yo, can we get some W's for Johnny in the chat? $50 on Cash App. Give me at least a 50 W's for Johnny in the chat, if you'd be so kind. That's incredibly kind, man. I appreciate that. Shout out Johnny. And Rachel, thank you for the $25 as well. Throw some W's in the chat for Rachel. How are people able to write longer messages? Those messages are on Venmo. On Cash App, I know you only have like a little bit of room, but on Venmo, you can write longer messages. So, yeah. And then finally, Caitlin, thank you for the $5. In Texas, had hysterectomy in September. Best decision ever. See? I mean, that guy was trying to say, oh, all women regret their decisions. It's like, no. There's certainly, like, with abortion pills especially, like, it can affect women's hormones and lead to a variety of different things. But not every woman is like, oh, I regret my decision. You know what I mean? Anyway, if you're MAGA, let me know. I'll bring you up and we can talk. This person says they're MAGA. We'll give them an invite. Let's see here. If you're MAGA, let me know. I'll bring you up. This guy's username is Hail Trump. I think you need to step outside. I think you need to go outside. The grass is green. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Probably have never seen it. We'll invite Hey. George says he's MAGA. Can't invite him for some reason. Look at Jana. It says W in the chat for Trump. Let's send them an invite. Yo, I appreciate you. I appreciate that. I didn't catch your username, unfortunately. Hollow Point, I just invited you. That's a curious name. George says he's requested, so let's try to find George in the box. Sometimes it doesn't let me invite you. Oh, somebody's coming up. Well, sorry, George. Venmo Cash App, link in the bio. Logan, thank you for the $5 that just came in. Harry, I love you. Logan, I love you back, man. I appreciate it. And Alondra, thank you for the $5 as well. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. Hello.
Hey, Harry, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me up, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. So you voted for Donald Trump?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I voted for Trump. I have one thing that I'd like to address you with, and there's a lot of promises that the folks on your side say that Trump was never able to deliver.
Yeah.
What do you think about what he was able to deliver for our veterans?
In terms of what?
His first term.
Yeah, but what policy in particular are you pointing to?
Well, I'm just speaking just in general about expanded access to telehealth and suicide prevention resource, creating a VA hotline to immediately help veterans. There's a series of increased educational benefits, decreased veteran homelessness, security record funding for medical services. I mean, there's a lot of great things that he has done and promised to do and fulfilled his promises.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of these were included in budget bills, meaning that this was not just Donald Trump and a policy that he passed, that he introduced and got done. These were like, this was an increase in funding for X program in a budget bill that got through Congress. And, recall that on the last 2 years of his presidency, the House Democrats controlled the House. The Republicans didn't control the House. But there are certain things that Donald Trump takes credit for when it comes to veterans that he didn't actually do. So he says that he was the guy that got in choice for veterans, meaning that they get to choose their doctor even if it's out of the VA. It's not true. It was actually passed by President Obama. That was something that Obama did and Trump renewed, but he claims credit for it, which obviously he didn't do. But generally, I think that Trump's policies toward our veterans has been pretty poor, or at least his attitude toward our veterans has been pretty poor. I mean, he called said that John McCain isn't a war hero. He called fallen American soldiers losers and suckers. The list goes on. For the first 2 years of his presidency, he barely went to Joint Base Andrews for honorable transfers of bodies to parents. He actually sent Mike Pence for a lot of those, the overwhelming majority of them, actually. So, and, Biden had the PACT Act, the largest expansion of veterans health care in a very, very long time. So I don't know. I think Biden and Harris were probably better for that than Trump.
I mean, we can't deny the fact that Gold Star families invited Trump. You can't. Matter of fact, there's a big thing coming out right now to where, the family is extremely upset about everything that was being said about Trump. I mean, matter of fact, I don't think the Harris administration were even there or invited. What are your thoughts on that?
Are you talking about to the Arlington?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there were some Gold Star families that invited Donald Trump, but also just think about what took place at Arlington, right? Like Trump's team, there was an Arlington official who was telling Trump's team that they couldn't take videos and photos, and Trump's team assaulted that person, like pushed them aside and took photos and videos anyway. There were the graves of some fallen American soldiers in those videos that Donald Trump, his campaign, posted to his social media accounts, and they did not give consent for those graves to be included. The families of those fallen soldiers did not give consent to Trump and his campaign to use their graves in a political advertisement. So, yeah, I mean, what happened to those fallen American soldiers, those 13 Marines that died in Afghanistan is tragic. But just think about Trump's response to it. Like, he politicized those people's deaths. He always brings up those 13 American soldiers, but he never talks about the 65 American soldiers that died under his watch. Right? He never talks about that. Those Gold Star families aren't inviting Donald Trump to Arlington. When was the last time you heard Donald Trump mention one of their names?
No, I agree. Listen, one thing I got to say to you, Harry, is that one of my biggest things that annoys me the most is that he flies off the handle. He says things from an emotional standpoint that comes off as being insensitive. I think everybody in this nation can say the way he puts things is very arrogant at times. He's not very politically savvy. A lot of folks that voted on our side wanted him to treat this country as a business. And my big thing that I couldn't vote for the Harris administration is that every time you've seen the 60-minute interview, every time she is asked a direct question, it always goes back to, I'm from a family of 5. I'm this.
That's not true.
You tell me when she's answered direct questions, and I'm not trying to be argumentative. No, sir, I disagree with you.
All the time. During the presidential debate, she answered these questions in full, gave detailed policy as to what she wanted to do on every single topic they discussed. And when she was asked about the economy is when she would provide an answer regarding, hey, I came from a family of 5. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have bills on your table. You don't know if you're going to be able to pay by the end of the month. I know what it's like. I grew up in a middle-class family. I worked at McDonald's. I worked these jobs just to keep myself afloat. Donald Trump has no idea what that's like. That's the point she's trying to make, that she knows what it's like. She knows what it's like for middle-class families. And then after that, she would go into specific policy proposals that she wanted to work on if she got elected president of the United States. So, when she's talking about housing, she's not like, oh, I came from a family of 5. Oh, what about immigration? I came from a family of 5. That is just not true. But when you hear Donald Trump speak, what Trump has been asked, what's he going to do to reduce inflation? Because this is his big thing. I'm going to reduce inflation. I'm going to get costs down. Have you ever heard Donald Trump give an in-depth answer to that question?
Listen, I agree with you. The way he does things as well. I'm not just pointing my finger at Kamala, but I will say that I am dead against. I'm just going to go back 1 second. Mm-hmm. Do you really think? And it's 2 separate bills actually for the first generation home buyers. I mean, you can look at this from a factual standpoint from Chase Schiller. They said that minimally what she plans on doing is going to cost $250 billion, upwards to $650 billion. And who's going to pay for that?
The taxpayer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole thing about paying taxes, is that you pay in to make the country better. when people are in houses, they're more economically stable, meaning that they can interact with the economy more. They have more money, which means they can start small businesses if they want to, creating jobs. It's all like people owning houses and being comfortable financially helps all of us. So if my tax dollars go to more people in houses, comfortable, I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that. We also do that right now, by the way. We have government housing for people.
Yeah, we've always had government housing, correct?
Yeah. So why would you be suddenly opposed to getting even more people in houses? But I'm sure you support government housing for a lot of lower income people, and that we have programs for homeless veterans that get them into houses as well.
Correct. I mean, again, the whole idea of what her plans were had needed congressional approval. And it goes on both sides. I do agree with you to some sense on that. One thing I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to thank you for having me up here.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get up to speak to you for quite some time now, and I had to throw, I want to debate you, Harry, things so you could see it, and I appreciate you. I would like to go over with you on Trump's in his first term. Trump promised and he delivered. I'd like to speak Israel with you. I'd like to speak about the fact that recognized Jerusalem as the official capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem. A lot of folks on your side think that was a bad idea to do. Do you think it was bad to do that?
I think it increased tension unnecessarily. Right? Like in a region with so much tension already, what did that actually change? Because I think the main goal in the Middle East right now is peace, right? Even before October 7th and things that broke out subsequently. I think the main goal is establishing peace, opening up relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia, sovereignty for all regions involved, so there can be self-preservation pursued by all countries. So why would he do that?
I think honestly, I think a lot of that has to go back to Christianity. I think a lot of it has to go back to, if you look into the Bible, that's the way it was supposed to be. But we shouldn't have the Bible
governing what we do in global politics, especially in regions like the Middle, anywhere actually, not just especially, anywhere. The Bible and what the Bible says to be true should not be governing what we in government decide. Also, we have separation of church and state, so that should definitely not be.
I was going to say that too. Are you a Christian, Harry?
I was raised a Christian. I got my confirmation, communion, all that stuff. But currently, I'm an agnostic/atheist. Go back and forth.
Okay. And what made that change in your life? How old were you when that changed?
Probably 14, 15.
Okay.
I just don't see any evidence for a higher power.
Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. I guess a couple other quick things. Do you agree that Trump shut down CIA funding to the Syrian rebels? Do you think that was strictly a good thing that he did that, or do you think that really was irrelevant?
I actually can't really speak to that. I'm not quite sure what you're referencing right now, to be honest.
All right. Peace and prosperity represented the most ambitious and comprehensive international effort for the Palestinian people to date. It has the ability to fundamentally transform the West Bank and Gaza and to open a new chapter to Palestinian history, one defined not by adversity and loss, but by freedom and dignity. I think that, these are things that he promised. And listen, I know, like the other guy, I understood your frustration. I'm not going to say to you, Harry, why can't we all just get along? When you know who I voted for, and I'm not going to play that game with you, because I voted for a man, not because if you vote for this man, and I know you're probably going to get upset about this, but truly, I am not that type of human being, even though your chat's probably going to say you are. I am not tied into just because I voted for him. I'm this. I'm except tearing down women's rights and this. And like you said, I listened to you earlier. there's three things that Trump does support. If it's incest, if it's RP, and if it's the health of the mother, and then the rest gets turned over to the states. I heard you earlier when you made the comment about, what was it you said about if Trump is for those three things, then why can't he be for the full rights of the woman? I don't know exactly what you said, but maybe you can refresh my memory on that.
Yeah, what I said was, why does a woman have to be violated to have a choice?
You do know, there has been problems. Illinois I'm just going to give Illinois as just a state, just one state of all of our states. In 2022, there was over 57,000 AB related documented cases, and it went up every year after that, pre Roe v. Wade. So yes, you can say that the population is growing, but it's not going to increase that much from when it went to 57,000 in 2022. I think it was like 82,000 in 23 or 4, where it went up that much. There's got to be other reasons besides a contraceptive standpoint has something to do with this. Like you mentioned, okay, an 18-year-old girl, she decided to go ahead and have relations with somebody, and then all of a sudden goes, oh, you know what, maybe I want to go to college. Maybe I made a bad decision. To me, that's unacceptable.
Why is it unacceptable?
Because you choose to have interactions with somebody, but at the same time, then you decide, oh, I might have made a mistake, so I want to abort the baby.
Yeah, so what? So are you saying that if basically consenting to intercourse is consent to pregnancy?
I'm saying that it happens an awful lot, but I'm giving you an exact,
So car crashes happen an awful lot. When I get in my car, do I consent to being hit by an 18-wheeler and dying?
No, not at all.
Right. So you would recognize that even if you engage in an action where there's a possibility and a possible consequence of that action, you don't engage or at least consent to all the possibilities of said action. So when you get in a car, you don't consent to being hit by an 18-wheeler and dying. When you engage in intercourse with a partner or whoever it might be, you don't consent to a possible consequence being pregnancy. And if there's ways to remedy that outcome, you want to be able to use that. You don't want those taken away.
I understand what you're saying, but at the same token, there has to be accountability. A lady said to me one time,
I don't understand that argument. Why does accountability have to look like forcing a woman to go through 9 months of pregnancy and then giving birth and either raising that child or putting it up for adoption, but still going through the entire 9-month pregnancy, which is incredibly draining and it's painful. It's expensive. Why does that have to be the consequence? Why can't the consequence just be like the fact that they have to go through getting an abortion? Why can't that just be done? No more. You don't have to think about it.
I guess from, like you said, you have to separate church and state. Jeremiah 1 verse 5 said, I knew you in the womb. A lot of folks like to go back to that and have some sort of moral fabric in this department. And I'm not saying that all women do things like this, but I'm just saying, I know what you're thinking. Trump put it back to the states so he could go ahead and not really get the direct repercussion from all of this. Would you agree by that?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I'd agree with that just because I don't think that's the way that the Supreme Court works, but I don't know. Sure.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Harry, listen, I appreciate you letting me up here.
Yeah, no problem.
I could talk about a lot of different things, but I know you got folks up there, but I hope you remember my name, and I'd like to come up and speak with you again.
Yeah, man. Sorry it took me a while to get you up here, but you're welcome to come back. All right, we'll continue the conversation another day.
Thanks, Harry. I'm going to follow you right now.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you, buddy. You too. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Ay. Jaden, thank you for the $1. Hi, Harry. I wanted to say I'm sick and tired of guys voting for Trump and then saying I'm not against women's rights. It's like, huh? Do you actually read on what you voted for? Anyways, let me go meditate so I don't crash out. Sending love. I appreciate you, Jaden. Thank you. Katie, thank you for the $1. You, Dean, Parker, and Chris are our founding fathers and political divas. My God, we love y'all. We love you too, Katie. I appreciate you. Killer, thank you for the $1. My nightly ticked off tax. Can you play the Scottish Parliament speech on Trump's win? It speaks volumes. Also, Putin has shown the control Trump has. He's by sending more attacks on Ukraine. It's not good. Love you, Harry. Shout out to fellow mods. Love y'all too. Shout out, Killer. I appreciate you. Lena, thank you for the $25. You're great. Chances of not having recess appointments, feeling on Thune. Can this be such a clown show that other GOP members push back? I think so. I think there's a possibility that people like Matt Gaetz and Tulsi Gabbard don't get approved. But again, I never want to give the Republican Party the benefit of the doubt, man. You know what I mean? Listen, I keep seeing what's her face? Taylor Mitchell in the chat say she wants to come up. You have to request up. I can't invite you for some reason, so you might just not have live access. I don't know. But I don't know. I think recess appointments might be a decent possibility, unfortunately. But we shall see. We shall see. Isabel, thank you for the $2.22. Hi, Diva. As the days go on, it looks just worse for us as a country. I live in Texas, and we all know how the state can be with certain things. But nonetheless, I'm going to stay hopeful. Don't read out loud. Okay, Isabel, I can definitely do that. You just have to just text in the comments what your name is. You know what I mean? Anyway, Desta, thank you for the $1. I'm sorry I can't afford much. I'm down on my luck and I'm on disability, but I had to show some love. I love your lives. Thank you so much, Desta. I appreciate that. That is incredibly kind. I know yesterday you sent like $3. We sent you some money back, so I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Sydney, thank you for the $2. My Insta is gotcha. I got you. I will definitely take a look. Corey, thank you for the $20. Take back my earlier comment on tone, although still there. Cheers to your patience. I feel and understand your frustration. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. And then finally on Cash App, hold on. Cameron, thank you for the $3. Appreciate you more than you know. Thank you. And it's mutual, Cameron. I appreciate you. Mela, thank you for the $3. Voted for a rapist, but let's have Thanksgiving is crazy. I agree, Mela. Alandra, thank you for the $2. Praying for your mental health, by the way. You're so hot. Jeez Louise, bro. Jeez Louise. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Rosalie, thank you for the $3 for Harry J. Sisson. I appreciate you. Nicola, thank you for the $26. I'm so glad you're on our side. Thank you. Nicola, I'm glad you're on our side as well. It means a lot. Thank you for being here. And Anne, thank you for the $5. I appreciate you so much. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. This guy says debate me grifter, so I feel like I gotta get this guy up here. This guy also says MAGA cult member. We'll give him an invite. And also, make sure to drop a follow. We do these lives all the time. Venmo, Cash App, link in bio. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 700,000 likes. And of course, spam those shares down there. It helps send the live out to more people. You know the drill. What's up, man?
Golly, Jay Wellikers.
How old are you? You like 5?
Oh, I'm actually 38.
Okay. So you vote for Trump?
No.
Okay, so I don't have to talk to you then. You have a good one, right?
Wait.
Did you vote? You didn't vote for Trump, man?
There's a qualifier. I didn't vote for Kamala either.
Okay. So, but you didn't vote for Trump?
Well, I live in California, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, it does matter, but you didn't vote for Trump?
Well.
All right, you have a good one. Appreciate it. All right, if you voted for Trump, come on up here. Sorry, that guy annoyed me from the get-go. But if you're MAGA, you're welcome to come up here. We'll talk. Wow, this guy says King Trump. Gotta give that guy an invite. Are you kidding me? Let's see here. Cody says I'm MAGA AF. Let's give him an invite. I'm not too confident. Oh, George. Let me give George a shot, man. I feel bad. George, I told him I'd bring him up earlier. Got to give him a shot. Venmo, Catch Up, link in bio. You know the drill. Hello.
Yo. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Cody, hold on now. Cody, you vote for Trump?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And George, you voted for Trump?
Oh yeah, first time voter, voted for Trump.
God, it's embarrassing, isn't it?
You're a pussy ass bitch.
Whoa.
Okay, that's Cody.
What's
That's
with
not
the
me.
anger? What's with the anger, buddy?
That's him, not me.
No, I know. What's with the anger, buddy? You feel like couldn't come in, stand on your own legs? You know, do
Bro,
something like that.
Kick him.
Yeah, don't worry, he's going. I just want to talk my shit first. I got it all out. You suck, buddy. Get out of here. All right, what's up, George?
All right, what's up? Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too, man. You voted for Trump, huh? First time voter.
Oh yeah.
God, that sucks, dude.
Can you guess which state?
No.
Come on, just give it a shot. Just give it a
Illinois.
shot. No, Florida.
Okay.
Okay, so can I ask you, do you think Trump is opposed to abortions?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because he said he wanted to vote for, well, in Florida, he voted for a ballot measure that would ban abortions after 6 weeks.
Okay. I have seen him in clips saying that he just wanted to be up to the states. So how's that him saying he doesn't support it if he's wanting it to be up to the states?
If it's up to the states, that means that a bunch of states can ban abortion.
They could, but they also couldn't. So that's not really him saying he's going to ban it altogether. And then also another thing is like,
Yeah, but think about it this way. Who's more pro-choice? Somebody who wants to have it protected federally, so people on an individual level get to make the decision, not states, or somebody who wants it to be left up to the states? Who do you think is more pro-choice and wants people to have access to that?
I feel like if you leave it up to the states, it's the people deciding. Because if you just have one person who supports it, then you're going to have half the country who doesn't support it. You know, like if it were Kamala.
Yeah, but here's the difference. When a state, when you have it protected federally, right? People who are vehemently pro-life are not required to get abortions. There's no law saying you have to do this. Whereas when it's left up to the states and states actually ban abortion, then it is the state saying, oh, you cannot, by law, get an abortion. So it makes more sense to have it protected federally and people have access to that right as opposed to saying, oh, well, you know, states get to decide.
Don't RPs only make up 1% of abortions anyways?
Quick question.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it kind of does. It's like
It does not.
There's so many other ways to prevent a baby, and yet people are just being irresponsible. And you brought up the
1%. It's 1% that we know of, because a lot of women, when they go get an abortion, they don't give a reason as to why they're getting it. They don't like give the justification and what led up to that decision. They just go and get the care that they need. And a lot of these abortions are done today by pill now. They don't go into like an OBGYN's office.
Harry's right. I have
But
that.
also another thing I voted Trump was because like I feel
Wait,
like
all right, just wait one sec, buddy. Before we move on to another thing, let Tiffany jump in. She wanted to say something.
Good question. Do you think it's normal or okay for these young girls to use abortion as a form of birth control?
Well, that doesn't happen. It's not a
It
thing.
doesn't happen?
Yeah, that's not a thing. At least not widespread enough for it to be like, oh, that's a
Come
problem.
on, Harry, you're a smart dude. I watch you all the time.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
It's a thing.
That is
I
not a
have
thing.
friends on the other side it's a thing. Trust me. Believe
Tiffany,
me.
are you Republican?
Yes, I'm a Republican.
I
That
can
is
tell
absolute-
because like most women who are Democrat, in my opinion, I don't mean to offend no one. It's just like, as a man, I would not touch them with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, don't
So
worry,
it's
buddy.
like-
They're not coming your way either.
Okay,
They'll,
good,
they'll
'cause,
be
like-
just fine.
Like, every time they walk, you just, like, shake the world.
That's disrespectful, George.
Well,
Why
George,
does it
hey, George.
It's not cool.
One sec, Tiffany. George, you waited all this time just to get kicked out because you made some dumbass comments. Because
Hey,
you can't
fuck
be
you,
like,
buddy. You
you
stupid
can't be.
little ass
Yeah. See, you waited all this time. I'm
you,
glad.
bitch.
I'm
Fuck you,
glad that I wasted all your time. I'm glad that I
Fuck you,
wasted all your time. You sat here for so long just to get up here, just to get kicked out within like 3 minutes. God, that's embarrassing. You just wasted all of your time sitting in this live, buddy. Yeah, have a good rest of your night, buddy. All right, Tiffany, go ahead. Sorry.
So, I'm 40-year-old.
Uh-huh.
I know a lot of women that used abortion as a form of birth control. And I know one that used it in the month of her 7th month. She was 7 months when she did it. And she not only did it, she explained to us how it happened, how the doctor had to do certain things. I'm not going to give an ugly description of it because it's nasty. And after that, we was not friends no longer. And that's what
Why?
You want me to give you a description of what happened?
No, I don't need you to give me a description, but why would you not be friends with them any longer?
Because the things that she said is unforgivable. The
Because
things-
she was open about a procedure that she had with her
how She was
friends.
laughing about what the doctor did to make that abortion happen. How in pieces it had to come out, and how it was funny for her. And the only reason why she did it is because her ex-husband told her that if she gets rid of that situation that ties her up to her new person, he'll get her back.
Yeah, so I can't speak to like your friend or the procedure that she had, but you're letting even if you're like, oh, I have friends who use it for birth control. That's anecdotal, right? That's personal experience, and individual instances should not shape your worldview about, oh, is this widespread or not? So we'd have no data to suggest that women are using abortions as a form of birth control. Most women do not get like 5. Most women have 1, maybe 2
So you
in
don't
their
think
lives.
you don't think women do this abortion as a form
I think that there are anomalies in every data set. So I think that there are people who abuse certain systems or certain procedures and whatever in every single data set. There's always going to be people who does something out of the ordinary, does something bad. But for the overwhelming majority of women, and I mean the overwhelming majority of women, like 99.9999999% of women, they're not getting 5. This is a very tough decision for a lot of women to come to. It's not an easy one. It's not the procedure, whether it be through a pill or going into an OBGYN's office, is not easy.
So what's the main reason for it? Because they can't happen in their life. They're not ready for it. They made a mistake.
It doesn't matter. I don't even care what the main reason is. It could be that they don't want to support it financially. It could be that they're not ready. It could be that it was a result of an assault and they want to not carry that baby to term. I don't care what the reason is. I don't go asking questions as to why women want to access reproductive care. They can just do what they need to do.
Look, that I agree 100%. If somebody gets raped, I give that every reason in the world to do what they have to do because it's a difficult situation living through that, especially me being a person that went through that kind of stuff. I told you I'm a 40-year-old. I've seen a lot of things. I was leaning toward Kamala same way I was leaning toward Hillary Clinton. The interview with Kamala on The View. No, listen, you need to hear me. You're out of all 4 of you boys, you're the most respectable one. You're the one that I listen to, and I think you're very respectable, and you handle yourself like a full adult.
Well, thank you.
God's honest truth.
I think they're great as well. I think they do the same, but whatever.
They're cool, but I can't be on their level of speaking. They talk too fast. I can't understand them. They don't give us a chance to talk. But you are the respectable one. You are the one that I fully have respect for, even though me being way older than you. Because you handle yourself like a full adult, and that's the God's honest truth.
I disagree, but I appreciate the sentiment regardless. But anyway, continue.
Well, it's a compliment, so you could take it or not. It's up to you. I don't care. It's a compliment. When she said what she said, that she wouldn't change anything, that's what kind of freaked me out.
Okay, but then why did that freak you out? Can you give me like an example in the Biden presidency of which you wanted Kamala Harris to act differently?
I can tell you by my personal experience, before Biden came in, when Trump was in office, I was financially very, very, very successful. I'm a real estate person. I own 2 companies. I was doing great. I was thriving under his administration. When Biden came in, within the first 8 months, I lost 1 company. Two years later, I lost the other. I'm struggling. So I figured that this woman is going to come in and help me back up to life. Mm-hmm. And when she said what she said, I was like, what the hell?
Okay, but what did Biden do to make you lose your businesses? And by the way, I'm sorry that happened. Truly. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't want you to lose your income.
Thank you.
But what did Biden do to make that harder for you?
Honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know. I don't know. It's just a difference.
So that's the point.
In 2016, when Trump was in office and then when Biden was in office.
Okay, but that's the point. Would you recognize that it's possible that your business was struggling before Biden even got into office because of COVID?
Oh, was it?
So before, during the height of COVID, when people weren't really buying houses and things like that, you're in real estate. I'm kind of going off of that. You're saying that your business was thriving, but as soon as Biden got into office, your business was bad.
Within the first 8 months, yes. 8 months later.
So, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, Biden didn't actually do anything to make your business worse. I'd say that if you're in real estate, increasing housing costs probably hurt your business.
I was in commercial.
Whatever it might be. I'd say that when Biden got into office, the economy was bad. Like, it wasn't good. There was a high unemployment rate. Under Donald Trump, unemployment got to around 14% at one point. When Biden got in, it was still around like 6%. So there's still a lot of work to be done to get it back down. Inflation was still high. Nobody was back in school. Like 5% of schools were full a year later in Biden's presidency. 95% of them went back to in person. But point is, when Biden got into office, the economy was bad. And so he had to rebuild the economy. It wasn't going to happen overnight. It wasn't going to happen in 9 months. But Biden didn't do anything to make your business worse or sink your business or do anything like that. He actually passed a huge stimulus package to invest back into small businesses to keep them afloat. And they did.
Guess what? I will agree with you. Being on the opposite side, I will agree with you on that. But here's the thing. let's say 70% of Americans don't see it the way you see it, don't feel it the way you feel it, don't understand it the way you understand it. So if they would have had a better fighting point, maybe the way you do, maybe it would have helped Americans. And that's why CNN, I don't watch these, I hate CNN, I hate what are all these channels, ABC, all these channels. I even hate Fox. I don't watch none of that stuff. But the way one lady said, our problem is with the Democratic Party, the way we talk to our voters. We don't explain to them things. We just tell them what to do and how to do it and when to do it and why to do it. See, if you was to explain it if you was to be the one to explain it, maybe it would help people understand. And yes, you have a younger generation, you have a big platform and you explain to the younger generation, but I'm not a younger generation. So to me, it's different. For a majority of the Americans, it was different. If people explained it to us the way you're explaining to us, maybe we would get somewhere. But it doesn't work that way.
MSNBC, if you're listening, I'll be hired. MSNBC, if you're out there, CNN, if you want to hire me, I'm just no, I'm joking.
We're on the opposite sides, but they should, honestly.
No, first of all, I appreciate the sentiment. Like, I think that it's just, I could talk about this for hours, so I'll try to make this like really, I think that right now the Republicans dominate media. I think they dominate social media. I think that when you go on social media, since you don't watch like cable news, you're going to see Republicans and Donald Trump's talking points just be spread out by these funded operations, these content creators on the right that get millions of dollars from Republican super PACs. Us on the left, we don't get that money. Like, nobody's here backing us, right? None of these big super PACs are backing us, so we don't get to put out content in the way that they do, in a professional way. We don't get to get the reach that they do with the backing of super PACs. So right now, I think that the Republicans are dominating social media. So via your interpretation of social media, you probably heard a lot about Republican policy, but didn't hear much about Democratic policy. And I don't blame you, because your life is not dedicated to politics. You're a hardworking American. You're just trying to put food on your table, keep a roof over your head. I totally get it. So I think the Democrats do have to do a better job of getting our message out there. And I hope
you get that. And I told you, I have respect for you being a younger person than I am. But look at the comments. The comments they're mocking me. I'm being honest. I'm being open-hearted, honest, open-minded, but they're mocking me, telling me I'm an adult. I should learn more. And this is the problem with the Democrat side, because they're too hateful. And if there was a little bit more open, or stop having so much hatred in their heart, maybe the right would listen. But we can't listen when it's all based on hatred.
I think it's two things. I think, three things. Number one, you shouldn't listen to the comments. The comments are mean to me as well. It's just like, people talk. Yeah, but right. I think that's twofold. One, I think Democrats could do a better job of getting our message out there and meeting people where they're at. Totally agree. But also, two, there is a personal responsibility aspect to this. So we're both adults, and we both have to do our part. And since we're voting citizens, our part to inform ourselves on the issues and what the campaigns are thinking and what the candidates are thinking. Kamala Harris had all of her policies laid out. She gave individual speeches on different policies, on the economy, on housing, on small businesses, all that stuff. She gave speeches on this stuff. And it's out there. So the information is out there. It might not just be meeting where you're at, but you can also take the initiative to go find what Kamala Harris is saying. Just tune into a speech every once in a while. Maybe throw it on for 10 minutes in the background and just listen to what she's talking about.
Harry, every single one I did. And all I understood was from her that she was dumbing down people. I'm half black. I didn't like the whole Megan Thee Stallion situation. That for me, I felt, I didn't like it.
What Megan Thee Stallion situation?
Dancing on the stage like that with those nasty.
She's a performer.
It doesn't matter. It's a presidential debate, a campaign. We're not supposed to do these things and with these nasty songs. Honestly, the truth. If Trump did it, the left would have had field day. That's how I see it.
I wouldn't have cared. Hulk Hogan ripped off his shirt on stage at the RNC.
And I did not like it. I swear to God, I did not like it. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was idiotic. It was crazy. To me, like I said, I'm older. I look at things differently. The younger crowd look at it differently. I didn't like it. I felt like I was dumbed down a little bit. But whatever the case is, it is what it is. If they would have explained better and give us certain answers, I was ready to switch in a second. In the flip of a switch, I was ready to switch. But the only thing that came to mind to me was I was thriving between 2016 up until Biden got into office.
Yeah, but here's the question you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself why. Like, did Donald Trump actually do anything to help you thrive, to make the economy better, to make your life better? The answer is no. And did Joe Biden do anything to make your life worse and hurt your businesses? The answer is no. So Trump got millions upon millions of people to buy into a lie that somehow magically he's going to be able to solve the economy and make it better, and he's going to lower prices and he's going to bring your business back and whatnot. That will not happen. The president can't do that, and Donald Trump certainly doesn't have any policy to do that. And he made a bunch of people buy into this lie, and it's a shame. It really is a shame.
Here's the last thing I'm going to say before I go. I'm really tired. First of all, like I told you before, I respect you. I enjoyed this conversation, whatever. But for the majority of Americans that did not get their way of Kamala winning, how about instead of hoping everything goes to shit and getting the I gotcha, see, I told you, how about instead we all stand united and hope for a better America? Because from what I'm seeing on TikTok especially, everybody wants it to fail. Everybody wants America to fail right now just to say, oh, I told you, I got you. See, you messed up. And to me, that's non-patriotic. To me, that's considered a traitor. If you're rooting against America, then you're a traitor. And if that's the case, then I think I'm on the right side. Because Democrats are not showing us anything that proves to us that they are patriotic. They want America to fail.
I totally disagree. I'm a proud, strong Democrat. I want America to succeed.
Yes, and you said it.
I totally said it too.
I agree.
I don't want Donald Trump to fail. I don't want to have to say I told you so.
I'm not saying you.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, generally, like, I don't know what Democrats are seeing, but I don't know many Democrats who are like, yeah, I want Donald Trump to fail so we can say I told you so. What we Democrats just believe is that, unfortunately, that is going to be the reality, that we will have to be like, yeah, we told you so. And if that does happen,
forget the comments. On The View, I don't even know her name, but the Latina one, because I'm also a little bit Latina. The Latina one said, this is what you guys voted for. This is what you wanted.
Yeah, that is the case.
This is what you wanted. So these are people that's proven to me, okay, when America goes down to crap, this is what you wanted, so I told you so. So for me,
I think that's a fair position to take. I don't think that's bad faith. It is pointing out that yes, this is the reality you voted for. So with, Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, a guy who has absolutely no experience, should not be Attorney General. When we have a Fox News host as the new Secretary of Defense, when we have basically Donald Trump lining the government with his buddies, and he's going to put in like 10 to 20% tariffs and everything you buy. You're in real estate. Hold on. You're in real estate, so you're going to be badly impacted by tariffs. When Trump puts like 10 to 20% tariffs on everything coming in, especially resources that are used to build houses, my God. God love you. Good luck trying to sell a house. Everything's going to be 10 to 20% more expensive. So when all that happens, the point that person is making is that this is what you voted for. So you own this. You cannot in a year complain, oh my God, everything is so expensive. Oh my God, Matt Gaetz is Attorney General. He has no idea what he's doing and crime is not being prosecuted in the way that it should. You do not have a ground to stand on to complain. And that's the point that she's making. So we all want America to succeed. But unfortunately, the overwhelming reality is that Donald Trump is not going to do well.
Okay, well, there's 70 million Americans, I think, different, because under him, everybody was thriving, including myself.
Yeah, but we just went over this. Why were you thriving?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's what the majority of American people believe.
Okay, but just because a majority believes something doesn't mean that it's okay. Because one time in American history, the majority of people believed that having slaves is okay. So the majority of Americans thinking something does not mean that it's right or that it means that it's okay.
The left should speak about it the way you're speaking about it, but they did not do that. They threw counters at us instead.
Okay, I've been speaking about this since February.
It doesn't matter. Okay, I get it. You're speaking about it to your younger generation crowd. That's fine. But the way the campaign handled it, throwing counters in front of us, not answering nothing, the majority of America voted for him because of these situations. And whatever the case is, at the end of the day, it's the way America feels, that everybody...
I understand that the majority of Americans voted for Donald Trump and that he won the election. But that doesn't mean that it was the right choice. It just doesn't mean it's the right choice.
They should fight the point the way you fight it, the way Parker fights it, the way Dean fights it, the way everybody else fights it. They did not do that. And I'm pretty sure you're an intelligent guy. You know that. You see it too. I don't have to sit there and convince you. You know they did not do a good job of convincing Americans that they were the better choice. I don't have to fight.
I think it was just a tough environment. I think it was a tough national environment for Democrats. It was clearly a year of which people were swinging toward the Republicans, and it was just a tough environment. It was an uphill climb for us. We were swimming against the current as Democrats because we had a lot of folks who were thinking like you. And I'm not saying that you're a bad person by any stretch of the imagination. I just want to preface that. But a lot of Americans were thinking like, hey, the economy was good under Donald Trump. I'm going to vote for him again, and because the economy was good once. A lot of people were thinking like that. So it's hard for us Democrats to convince people that, hey, that's actually not how this works.
But if they tried, if they even tried, if
yeah,
they
but think about, we did try.
You tried.
We spent.
The other guys tried. TikTok tried. Not the campaign itself.
But you understand that the only reason that I'm able to convey this message to you in depth is because I have the time to sit down here and have like a 20 to 30 minute conversation and explain in the way that I think I can in depth about, hey, this is not what this actually means. This is not how this works. Kamala Harris does not have that same time. That's why I say there's a personal responsibility aspect of this, that it's on us as American voters to see what Kamala Harris is saying during her speeches and campaign appearances, but then we have to take it upon ourselves to go read her policy.
I know. I saw everything she said. Every interview, she did not answer. She answered with Trump. It was Nazi. It was dictator. She struck fear into the Democrats' heart. She put fear, such a big fear inside of their hearts that there's over 2,700 people unaliving themselves. I don't know if that number is accurate right now, but I know it was the other day. She did not explain. She had the biggest platform in the world to explain it for 5 minutes. She did not. That's what I'm saying. You do a better job of it. The other boys do a better job of it. She did not. Her campaign did not. And that's why she lost. And it sucks because I would have loved nothing more to see in my time the first female president, especially a black woman, to be president. I would have loved nothing more. But she did not use her platform the right way. You do it. She did not. And
I don't even know how to like convince you otherwise that she did a good job. This is just like personal opinion, I guess.
I get it, but whatever the case is, that's how I see it, and obviously that's how the majority of America saw it too. If she did less time spreading hate,
but oh my god! But this is like, okay, this is the one point that you said that drives me crazy. She wasn't spreading hate; she was telling the truth about Donald Trump. Like first of all, she never called Donald Trump the F word, aka fascist, outright. She's never like, oh, he's a fascist. But what she did is bring attention to the fact that Donald Trump does have he has dictatorial tendencies. And this is not me just making this up. Donald Trump himself said, I will be a dictator on day one if I win. He told you. He told you what he wants to do. And now we're seeing this take shape. Hold on. We're seeing this take shape. He is appointing his buddies and loyalists to very important jobs in the government, which should be led by people who are experienced and knowledgeable. Instead, Donald Trump threw that all out the window, and he's putting in people who their only qualification is being loyal to him.
Let me ask you a question. Are you 100% put your life on the line that he's a failure right now, that he's going to fail with this team that he's building?
I never look. I'll never say anything's 100% when it comes to government, right?
Exactly.
But I'd say that if I had to take a bet as to one way or another, will it be a success or a failure? I'd go all in on failure. Why the hell do we have Tulsi Gabbard running the intelligence community? Why would we do that? Why would we have a Fox News host who, in his credit, is a veteran, but has never worked in the government, has never led an organization bigger than a small nonprofit, has never worked in the Department of Defense, running the Defense Department? Why would we do that? That makes absolutely no sense. We went from Lloyd Austin, the current Defense Department right now, the Secretary of the Defense, who's a 4-star general who worked his way up the ranks, to a Fox News host.
Please, come on, Harry. It's not just the Fox News host. We both know that. He's not just the Fox anchorman that preaches the news. He's more than that. Come on.
Wait. So, as I just said, to his credit, he has served in the military. And of course, I'm thankful for anybody, left, right, Republican, I don't care, who has served in the military. But I think you'd agree that not everybody that has served in the military and served for quite some time is automatically qualified to run the Defense Department, because then by that same logic, you'd say that Tim Walz should run the Defense Department, or Pete Buttigieg, Democrat, should run the Defense Department.
Did Tim Walz serve?
Yeah, over 20 years.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, over 20 years. So, like, I appreciate veterans. We all do.
Yeah.
But somebody serving doesn't mean that they should automatically run the Defense Department. There are far more people out there who have served and been in the Defense Department and been in leadership roles, like Lloyd Austin, who's the current Defense Department secretary, who are better fit. Trump just picked a buddy of his.
Look, whatever the case at this point, he could be a failure, he could be a success. At this point in time, we don't know. If
Yeah.
he's a failure, then all of America will know they made a mistake.
Do me a favor.
Go
And I'll
ahead.
leave you. I know you're tired and I don't want to take too much of your time, but just do me a favor. One thing I ask you.
Go ahead.
I would say that Donald Trump has already failed. That he said he was going to end the Ukraine war or has the ability to do so in 24 hours, and he could solve it as president-elect. The war hasn't been ended.
You're right. You said that.
But he also said, now I think that already means he's failed. Other people say, well, no, he only meant the 24 hours for when he's president. Do me a favor. When Donald Trump becomes president, just pay attention to the first 24 hours of his presidency, and you'll see that the war does not end. And if it does theoretically end within 24 hours, look at the deal very closely and how it's probably not a great deal for Ukraine. And that's just day one. So just pay attention to how a lot of these promises that Donald Trump has made will suddenly collapse right before our eyes, and how, let's get rid of income tax, let's get rid of Social Security tax, overtime tax. None of that will happen,
Guess what?
and your prices will not go down; they will go up.
The first one to literally make a video and add it to you.
Okay.
I'm wrong. I'm dead wrong, 100%. You know what?
Sure.
I don't know how, but make sure you have my page. Look at it, and if I'm wrong, I will let you make a public nuisance out of me.
I wouldn't do such a thing because I don't think you're a bad faith person.
I'll give you that. I'll let you do it without crying about it, without a fight, without an argument, whatever.
Well, just come back. Hopefully, we'll still be doing the lives by then. I have no reason not to. So come back by then, and we'll have a chat. And you can say, "Oh, I was wrong," or maybe you'll say, "Hey, Harry, I was right." And, whatever. I don't know.
Whatever the case is, but my whole point is, most of Americans, majority of Americans, understood that they felt better under the Trump administration, and Biden administration destroyed them. Whatever the case is, that's how majority felt. Whether it's right, wrong, true, untrue, however it is, that's how Americans felt. If Kamala would have done a better job preaching, I promise you she would have won. In 14 seconds, she would have won, without a doubt. But she instead, Nazi and Hitler is a very, very big word.
She didn't call them that.
She called him a Hitler.
No, she didn't. See, this is the really ironic. No,
then it was Obama. Who was it? Obama?
No, Obama didn't either. Here's the funny thing. No, nobody on the Democratic side did. Here's the funny thing.
I heard it with my ears.
Wait, just pause for 1 second. I promise on everything, and I look at this a lot. I promise on everything that not Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris did not call Donald Trump mustache man directly. I'll use the word mustache man for TikTok reasons. Now, here's the funny thing. They didn't call him mustache man. Donald Trump's own former advisors did. John Kelly did. Mark Milley did. J.D. Vance
Yes.
did. That's the ironic thing. It's the people on his own side who called him mustache man.
Happy.
Kamala Harris never did. She referenced the report of Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, doing it, but she never said directly, "Oh yeah, this guy's mustache man."
Obama said the New York rally, and I believe it was Times Square. I'm from Connecticut. I live in a Democratic state. So New York to me is literally 40 minutes away, New York City.
I know. I'm familiar with the area.
Madison Square Garden. That's where the Knicks play. That's a very big whatever.
I'm aware.
And the last time that somebody held a rally there, they used those words. Mustache man,
that is true.
Roofers. These words were spread around. So you're saying this to...
But that's true. Like that's a fact.
I get it, but before that, Clinton in '93 did a rally there. So
I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did. I don't. Also, Obama didn't say the last time they held a rally there, but he was pointing out that the mustache supporters did at one point hold a rally there.
Yes, they did. That's true. It's not a lie. It's true. But also, Clinton did in '93. I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, but think about the rhetoric. Think about the rhetoric at a Clinton rally. I don't even know if Clinton did, but I'll take your word for it.
I'm lying about it. I wasn't a teenager, but
sure. But think about the rhetoric that was being spewed at Trump's rally, and the one that was being spewed in like the 1930s or 1950s, whenever it took place, 1940s, with the supporters of Mustache Man. Trump, some of his supporters made racist jokes about people of color eating watermelon, which is just like blatantly racist. A speaker made a joke or I wouldn't say a joke. He made a comment that Puerto Rico is garbage. People made misogynistic comments about Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. It's like they attacked minorities, they attacked immigrants. I mean, this rally had a lot of really gross rhetoric. Am I calling Donald Trump mustache man? No, I'm not calling him that. But that was the comparison that was being drawn. Nobody ever on the Democratic side, at least the major Democrats, that being like Obama, Biden, Clinton, Harris, called Donald Trump mustache man. Said, yes, you are mustache man.
Well, I believe that I heard different, but I'll take your word for it. I'm
Feel free to prove me wrong.
Be open-minded, and I'm going to say you're right. That's what I'm going to do. But here's the thing. Whatever the case is, you have to admit a little bit. Look, I'm admitting openly, Republican Party has a lot of faults in it. You can't sit there and tell me the Democratic Party is perfect, because they're not.
I would never say that.
Well, that's how we get it preached to us that they're perfect. They know everything. They're the best. They're the greatest. They have their faults too.
Wait, I totally disagree. I think it's the complete opposite way around. Donald Trump, that throughout this entire campaign, was saying, I will solve all of your problems. Every problem you're having right now, only I, the great Donald J. Trump, can solve it. Whereas Barack Obama at recent rallies specifically said to the crowd, government is not a solution to all of your problems. Government can either make your life a little bit better or a little bit worse. But a little bit worse can hurt a lot, and a little bit better can help a lot. That's the Democrats' pitch, that the Democrats are not going to solve every single thing for you, but that we will make your life better. Donald Trump was saying, I will solve every problem.
What is the problems that he said he's going to solve?
He said that he's somehow magically going to be able to lower gas prices to what they were during COVID. He said he was going to lower your grocery prices to what they were during, or what they were before COVID. He was saying that he's going to somehow magically be able to seal the border without passing immigration legislation, and also completely ignoring the actual root cause of migration right now. And he was saying all these different crazy policy beliefs. He has also said he wants to defund the FBI and the Department of Justice. Like, what?
You're right. But let me ask you this, honestly.
Yes.
If he was to be able to do these things, let's say 95% of his ability, he solves these things. He does what he said he does. Is that still going to change your mind? Will that change your mind?
I'm always a proponent. If Donald Trump does something good and he's able to solve something, great. But we have to be honest here. It is an impossibility that these things happen.
We don't know. We really don't know yet.
The president doesn't control prices.
I get it. But he has his ways. He has big connections. He wasn't always a politician. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. He sees things differently.
Okay.
The way these people live their whole lives in politics.
You're asking me, this alpaca over here said that it can fly. And I'm saying, well, the alpaca doesn't have wings. It can't fly. And you're saying, well, what if it does? It's like, okay, what if it does? That'd be pretty remarkable, but it's impossible. That's not possible. That's not within the realm of possibility. Just like the president themselves cannot lower the price of groceries across the board. They cannot go into a grocery store and say, hey, your milk, cheaper, lettuce, cheaper, carrots, cheaper, everything you buy, cheaper. The president doesn't have that ability. Donald Trump made an impossible promise to you and millions of Americans.
Like I told you, you're the only one out of all of your friends that I could listen to and I get facts from, and you educate me. I'm giving you that. But can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I don't know what state you're from. I really have
I'm from New York.
Oh, you're from New York. Okay. Mm-hmm. What part of New York are you? From Manhattan?
Currently, yeah.
Okay. One of my friends lives in Brooklyn in Dumbo. Mm-hmm. I know you know what Dumbo is. It's a very expensive, high-class area. You know, she told me the other day a gallon of milk was $19. I did not believe her. I told her there's no freaking way. And she's a Democrat, mind you. She's a big Kamala supporter. I did not tell her that I voted for Trump because we will never talk again. That's the God's honest truth. I'm like, no way. She sent me a picture of it. $19 for a damn gallon of milk. So when the milk drops, I'm telling you, these are real problems for Americans.
Where the hell is she shopping? Because I just looked this up. I have a Target where I can get a gallon of milk for $5.49.
This is not Target. This is a Double Brooklyn.
Is she okay? Well, is she shopping at a goddamn Erewhon or Whole Foods?
These are markets that I never heard of them before. I guess they're family markets. I don't know.
That's why. Because they're probably if it's in that very bougie area, that very wealthy area, they have these very expensive markets where a gallon of milk is like $19. But you go to your Target, you go to your local grocery store, you'll get it for like $5.
Well, all I'm telling you is I'm not arguing or anything because I'm tired of that. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you this is what the majority of America believes.
I understand.
This
I
is the
understand.
majority of America's their problems. And see, a lot of people will say, well, you're putting prices before women's rights. See, they're not understanding. And these people that are saying this, the majority of them are very young. They don't have children. They don't have families. They don't have businesses. They don't have these things going. They're very new to life. So when these younger people, this younger generation is saying these things, it's an insult, because you can't tell us, oh, well, you're putting prices against women's rights. Well, how the hell are we going to fight for women's rights when we can't feed our children? What's the sense? Like, if we
Okay.
can't feed our children, how are we supposed to fight for their rights when we can't feed them?
So the
And
point
this
is,
what America believes.
is that with Kamala Harris, you get the reality that prices are not going to go down. She'll try to make the economy better so your money goes farther, but that the gallon of milk is not going to become $1.50 suddenly. But with Donald Trump, not only do your prices not go down, but you have a guy who said he wants to be a dictator on day one and has already promised, has already rolled back women's reproductive rights with the possibility of doing it further. So that's what we're saying. There's no winning on prices. There's no winning. There's no like, oh, we're going to go back to $1 gallon milk. That's not happening. So you either have Kamala Harris, who will work to make the economy better, to actually experience and can, knows what she's doing, or you have Trump, who won't make the prices better and has no idea what he's doing and has already promised to do a lot of horrible things which will hurt you, me, and everybody else.
I'll ask you this last thing before I'm done with the live.
Okay.
I'm tired. I'm sorry.
No, I hear you. It's late.
So everybody's losing their mind about women's rights. I get it. But the thing I want to know is, why now? Today was the same as 3 years ago. Today is the same as 4 years ago. Today is the same as 5 years ago. Why is now everybody losing their minds?
Because it wasn't the same 3 years ago.
How?
Roe v. Wade was still the law of the land 3 years ago.
Trump changed it in 2020, in 2016, or whenever the hell he was president.
No, it was 2022 when it was overturned. Trump appointed the Supreme Court justices during his term, but
Okay.
Roe v. Wade was
Excuse my
overturned in the
mistake.
summer of. It was overturned in the
Excuse my
summer of
mistake.
2022.
Excuse my mistake. Then why 2 years ago nobody was losing their mind? A
They
year
were.
ago.
The entire
No.
pitch on the midterm elections following Roe v. Wade overturned with the Democrats was Roe v. Wade, women's reproductive rights. We were talking about it nonstop with 2022, but that issue persists. It's still an issue today. You still have women who are bleeding out in hospitals because
That's not
doctors
true.
don't know if they can operate. To this day, you still have. We've had around 65,000, and this was an estimate quite some time ago, so the number is unfortunately likely higher. 65,000 assault-related pregnancies in Republican states with abortion bans since Roe v. Wade being overturned. This is still a problem today, and those women, we don't know. Maybe they had to have the child because they aren't able to get reproductive care in their state. They can't afford going out of state, or maybe they did go out of state and get that care. Point is that this is still an issue today. You're asking, why are people talking about it? Because it's affecting a lot of people.
Issue. But in some states, I believe it was 10. When they were when they were going to vote with the ballots, there was abortion on those ballots.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure it was 10 states. I'm not 100% sure. So doesn't that tell the women that it's up to them? It's up to the states. Trump can't say, well, I'm banning all abortion and that's that. Can't they figure it out? That it's up to
No,
the
because think about it. There are ballot initiatives. Look at Florida, right? It needed a 60% vote threshold to be a constitutional right in Florida to get an abortion. It got 56% and failed. So women organized, they got signatures, they voted for it. The majority of people voted for it, and it's still not a protected right in Florida. So and even in Ohio, for example, the women actually they hit a 60% threshold, and now it's a protected right in Ohio. But the Republican legislator in Ohio tried to take it off the ballot. They tried to make it impossible for them to get that threshold. So you can say, oh, leave it up to the states and they'll vote on it. It's just not that simple. Even if a majority of a state votes for it, with Florida being the example, women still don't get that care.
Okay, I agree. But then why not 1 year ago was everybody losing their mind the way they're losing it now?
They were. Respectfully, they were. This has been in the news for a long time.
Girls are shaving their freaking heads.
Thank you,
They're
Jeff the
losing
Unicorn.
They're literally losing their minds, and I feel bad for them. I swear to God, I do. I'm not making fun of them. I don't want to argue with them. I really feel bad for them because they're snapping. They're losing it. They're crying. They're shaving.
I don't know who
their
you're
heads.
talking
They're
about.
tattooed. Harry, you're a TikToker. You must be on TikTok. I'm telling you, you have to scroll. You have to type in the 4B movement. They're losing their damn minds, and this is very new for them. This is not happening here.
It's not just because of the 4B movement is not just because of reproductive rights. Women are saying that they're not going to have intercourse with men or date men anymore because the men, the majority voted for Donald Trump. So that's why. But a lot of women have been feeling this for quite some time. So this is not new. This anger is not new. This anger didn't just happen in the past 4 days or 5 days or week after the election. You might be seeing it more because more people are paying attention to politics, but this has been going on for quite some time. I've been talking to people for years about this.
For the younger generation, it's new. I'm telling you. Look,
as somebody in the younger generation, I can tell you it's not new.
Don't take my word for it. Search it up and see the dates and see what's going on this last week.
Alrighty.
But look, I appreciate you. I respect you. Keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully, you'll get everybody on the left, because if anybody in the Harris campaign has a little, like 5 minutes on their platform, especially, I promise you, they would have changed so many minds.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming up and having the conversation. And I know it's late, so thank you for sticking around for a while.
Have a nice night.
Thank you, Tiffany. You too. I appreciate it. Oh, man. Hold on. Yo, Megan, thank you. Whoa, Megan, thank you for the $40. Show some love for Megan in the chat with W's. My 16-year-old Trump supporter heard me sobbing and hyperventilating when he won. He woke up and came and hugged me and said, "Let me be your shoulder to cry on." Aw. I would never want your rights taken away. You, along with my son's words that night, give me hope. Wow. That is a really nice story. Wow. Megan, I appreciate the $40, and that's really nice. That's a really a beautiful story. It sounds to me that that's no Trump supporter, and he might be, young boys when they're growing up, they're in their teenage years, they're little, they're all over the place. So that's hard. That's moving. So thank you for your $40, and thank you for your support, and thank you for sharing that story. And Gunnar, thank you for the Galaxy. Isabel, thank you for the $1.11. People act like we touched them in the first place. Boy, bye. Anyways, don't read out loud. Gotcha. What the hell is this? What the fuck is this? Sorry. What the hell was that? I got a video on Twitter. My bad. Yo, Jaden, thank you for the $2. Dear George, no one wanted a Republican BF anyway. Says Jaden, I appreciate the $2. P.S. I work by Trump Tower. What a nasty view I walk near every day. Terrible building, isn't it? Just a stupid building. Just such a stupid building. Jill, thank you for the $2. I'm so confused why they always say I'm on the other side, but I agree with you on that. Then still vote red. I also don't know that. That's why I say a lot of people are not actually Trump supporters, not Republicans. They just think that they're Republicans, but they actually agree more with Kamala Harris. So anyway, yo, Lisa, thank you for the $100 on Venmo. Oh my God, yo, Lisa, I appreciate that so much. Can we get some W's for Lisa in the chat for $100? Are you kidding me? Fill the chat with W's for Lisa right now. This is insane. Thank you, Harry, for all that you do. Please continue, as I've learned so much from you, and I'm 63. Thank you again. Go get them. Yo, Lisa, I appreciate that so much. Fill the chat with W's for her. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for supporting me and watching all the time. That really, 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 really means a lot. Thank you so much, Lisa. Shout out you. We appreciate you. Thank you a million times over. Shout out Lisa. Again, fill the chat with W's for me if you'd be so kind. Yo, Aaron, thank you for the $5. MAGAs would not be so reconciliatory or wanting unity, and if they lost, they would be raging and rioting. The anger Democrats are showing is nothing in comparison to what they'd be doing. I totally agree. Again, January 6th happened in 2020. Right, that was their reaction. Maria, thank you for the $5. I just got to say, you look extra attractive this evening. Thank you for all that you do and your patience and passion. Wink if you like Latinas. Oh my God, bruh. Oh my God. Golly. God. Smooth. Oh, Jillian. What's up, Jillian? We love Jillian. That's very kind. It's very smooth as well. Yo, Joke, I appreciate the rhythmic. Appreciate you. That's very smooth, Maria. I can't even lie. Yo, Jacobiper's mom, thank you for the $5. The DNC was held at Madison Square Garden. That's where Bill Clinton did his acceptance speech. He didn't do a rally there. Good to know. I didn't even know that the DNC was held there. Yo, Rachel, thank you for the $25. Please don't read aloud. All right, you got it. Rachel, that's really funny as well. You honestly, I wish I won't read it aloud. I wish I could read it aloud because it's really funny. But sure, I'll do it. What is it? That's funny, Rachel. I appreciate that message. Sorry. Sydney, thank you for the $10. Thank you for helping me learn, especially as a 19-year-old woman working night shift as security by herself in this small town. Well, hey, Sydney, I appreciate you being here, and thank you for your support as well. It means a lot. Abby, thank you for the $5. It's my birthday today, so I'm glad you went live. I love watching you and Chris. Keep up the good work. Yo, Abby, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Have a good one. I hope this day is good for you. I hope this day is better than recent ones have been in terms of the United States. But happy birthday. Take your mind off of the chaos and just enjoy yourself today. All right. You deserve it. I appreciate you. Allison, thank you for the $1. People didn't see how crazy women were being about women's rights 2 years ago because we still had a president who supported women's rights. That's a good argument, Allison. It's a really good point. Exactly right. Zoya, thank you for the $5. So proud of you. Love from this California mom. Love you back. I appreciate you, Zoya. Thank you. Hector, thank you for the $1.63. I send you all I got because I'm disabled. Keep fighting. Hector, I appreciate that, man. Please save your money, brother. Please save your money. All right. Please save it. I appreciate your support, though. Thank you. You just being here watching means the world to me, Valeria, thank you for the $1. My SIL voted red and my bro is DACA and so am I. I don't even know. I can't even process that. Yo, Kira, thank you for the $4. Thank you. I listen to your lives every night. Kira, thank you so much for being here every night. I appreciate you. Lisa, thank you for the $5. Haven't been able to give due to eviction, but red heart. Wow. Again, Lisa, please save your money. I might even send that back to you. I'm going to send that back to you, Lisa. I'm going to send that back to you. Please save your money. Please save your money. I appreciate you. That's very kind. Maddie, thank you for the heart puff. But please save your money. I appreciate you. You just being here means a lot. You just being here is so incredibly kind. So I'm going to send that back to you. But thank you for the support regardless. Angelica, thank you for the $20. You're my fave. Been with you since Typical Democrat. You're an OG when the username was Typical Democrat. I appreciate that, Angelica. That's a long time. Thank you for being here for that long. It means a lot. Logan, $5. Can we get a workout routine? P.S. Still love you. Yes. So what I do every night is I Peloton for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Shout out. I can't even speak right now. Peloton for 45 minutes. Then, first of all, shout out to Alex Trousson, best coach at Peloton. And then I'll lift after. So I have like a 5-6 day lifting schedule. You go chest, legs, arms, triceps, back, shoulder, stuff like that. So I'll Peloton first and then lifting. So it's not that, interesting. And yeah. Aiden, thank you for the $1. Appreciate you, Harry. Hope we get through this all right. Me too, man. And Kira, thank you for the $5. It's Kyra. There you go. I was like, oh my God, I can't butcher her name a second time. I appreciate you. And then Patrick, finally, thank you for the $10. Harry, why are they not doing anything to recount the votes? Because there's no reason. There's no reason to recount the votes. And finally, Gunnar, thank you for the $3. It's not much, but I hope this helps. Even though I'm registered differently politically, you're still a big hero to me. Well, Gunnar, I appreciate that. Even if we disagree, man, I love the willing to just, expose yourself to different political views. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, everybody in between, I'm going to wrap up the live now. Sorry, I know the live is a little bit shorter tonight, but as I mentioned, I got to go Peloton. I got to lift. You know what I mean? I'm restarting the schedule this week, so now I have to go back to day one on the lifting schedule. So I got to go do it. You know what I mean? So anyway, I appreciate you guys. I will see you on Snapchat though, because I often do post, wrap ups of the live on Snapchat. If you follow me on Snapchat, you know that. You've seen my posts over there. So anyway, I post on every single social media platform. I post on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. All of those links are in my bio. So if you want to add me on Snapchat, if you want to follow on TikTok, follow on Twitter, follow on Instagram, YouTube, all of that is in the link in my bio. It means a lot. It goes an incredibly long way. But do me a favor. Go raid Parker. Parker, get a job. He's doing TikTok live debates right now. I don't actually know what he's debating this evening, but go show him some love. Go let him know that we appreciate him. Go say Harry Raid, Harry Raid, Harry Raid. Go let him know that we appreciate him. Fill the chat with Harry Raid. Fill the chat with Harry Raid. And by the way, Jill, thank you for the $10 that just came in. Keep up the good work. Such patience. I appreciate you, Jill. Thank you so much. Fill the chat with Harry Raid for Parker. Get a job. He's doing TikTok live debates right now. Go tell him that we appreciate him. Go fill the chat with Harry Raid. And yeah, everybody have a great day tomorrow. It is going to be a Thursday if it's not already a Thursday for you. So enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. See some friends, family, loved ones, whoever you care about. Tell them you love them. Tell them you appreciate them. And yeah. All right, everybody. Peloton sponsorship, please. Peloton sponsor, please. I'll wear Peloton shirts, please. I love you guys, please. Please, Peloton sponsor. Anyway, all right. Bye, everybody. I appreciate you.